All right, we're gonna get started here. Thank you all. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Summer Preview. My name is Joseph Herzl, and I am one of this year's Summer Preview coordinators. I have the greatest job here at Creighton because I have the honor of watching you and welcoming you all come into this Blue Jay family officially as Blue Jays now. Welcome to your first day on campus officially as a Blue Jay. Whether you're joining us from across the country or from just down the road, we are so happy to have you here for our summer orientation program. Before we start, I'm going to announce the winner from our completed information fair bingo card little prize. So, drum roll please, Henry Stanek, you won our bingo card drawing. Um, you can pick up your gift card at the back at the end of the session. Thank you. Congratulations. Um, Perfect. Thank you. So let's take a minute to get to know each other a little bit better. So can you all please raise your hand if you are from the state of Nebraska? Okay, nice, a lot. I'm from Omaha, best state, best city. And then raise your hand if you are from outside the state then. Okay, nice, majority. Families, who is sending their first child to college? Okay, quite a few of you. All right. And then who is sending their only child to college? Okay, there's a few. There's a few. Nice. And then who is sending their last child to college? Okay. All right. So if this is your first or only, look to those people that just raised their hands for any advice or anything like that. Awesome. Congratulations to you all. And then are there any alumni in the room? A few. Okay, awesome. Welcome back. If you want to grab your Creighton alumni pins, you can do that at the new student orientation table out in the atrium out there. So yeah, as you can tell, we have a wide range of people with us today. Some families have already sent students to college and are familiar with the emotions of a student as they transition to a new experience in a new environment. And then some of you are sending students to college for sending your first student to college. You may be unsure of how you're feeling. Maybe you're nervous. Maybe you're excited. Maybe even a little bit relieved, or maybe all of the above. Students, orientation signifies new beginnings and change. It might be an opportunity for you to have a fresh start. This experience may have you feeling both anticipation and anxiety. Regardless of your experiences or where you come from, I hope that when you leave tomorrow, you feel ready to come to Creighton here in August. Parents and families, this is also a time of change for you. We view parents and families as partners, and I hope that we all can agree that we want the very best for all of our students to be successful here at Creighton. Your orientation experience is designed as a three-part process. Summer preview and course registration are the first step in your transition. There are a lot of key takeaways from today and tomorrow and throughout the rest of your first year on campus for both students and families. We have thoughtfully planned out our orientation programs to give you the information you need when you need it. Students, we also deliver messages to your families so that they can help you remember and connect you to important campus resources. My point telling you all of this is that this is a shared experience for all of you. Today, we will spend some time learning together, and then we will split students off with their summer preview guides who are very excited to meet you. And today is all about learning from professional staff, from campus partners, as well as from each other. I encourage you to talk to other students and families here today because you have a lot to share with one another. Part 2 of this orientation process is Welcome Week. The goal of this program is to get you settled in to Creighton as your new home and kickstart your student experience here at Creighton. You'll hear more about this tomorrow and throughout the rest of the summer. Third is the Ratio Studiorum program, more commonly known as RSP. Think of RSP as your college homeroom, if you will, led by your advisor, and you'll be in a small group with fellow new students, along with a few upperclassmen to serve as mentors and guides for you throughout your first year on campus. This will be great support for you as you start your college career. Each year, new student orientation chooses a quote to serve as the theme for the upcoming year. This year, we have selected a quote from Henri Nouwen that says, "Let's not be afraid to receive each day's surprise, whether it comes to us as sorrow or as joy. It will open a new place in our hearts, a place where we can welcome new friends and celebrate more fully our shared humanity." There is going to be a lot of new beginnings in the next few days, weeks, and months for all of you. I encourage you to be present and open, take on the day without fear, and embrace the challenges as they come. Time on campus moves so much faster than you can imagine. It feels like just yesterday that I was out there sitting in your shoes, feeling overwhelmed yet hopeful for what was to come. Now, I'm heading into my senior year, wishing I still had 4 more years left. Students, you need to know that you will experience some tough times during your college experience. Everyone does, myself included. Whether it be with academics, relationships, or just adjusting to all the change, you will face some challenges. Having a growth mindset will allow you to realize that you can learn, grow, and overcome these challenges. I want you to remember that you belong here and that you can do this. Parents and families, one of the best ways to support your students is to normalize their experience. Remind them that they are not alone and reassure them that every student experiences uncertainty and discomfort with starting college in a new environment. It's important to remember to take advantage of all the resources that we have available on campus. We are here to help you succeed academically, socially, and personally. We have a resource directory in the back of your program, as well as in the guidebook app. Families, you will also receive a family calendar, which holds a lot of great information about what is upcoming on campus here throughout the next academic year. If you learn one thing from today, let it be this: successful college students ask for help. They do not try to do all of it alone. They ask for help early, and they ask for help often. You all received a program agenda during check-in. I will review more of what is to come today here in just a minute, but for right now, I want to point out a few helpful tips and things in your agenda. According to the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, otherwise known as FERPA, students' rights are protected under this law. This includes their academic schedules, grades, university bills, and financial aid. This may be a big adjustment for families who have had a lot of access to their students' information and school records up to this point. Students, you can control what access your family has to your information. We recognize that some of you may like your families to have access to some or all of this information. We encourage you to discuss with your family what this looks like and work together to create a guest account. Directions for setting up a guest account are located on page 12 of your booklet. You can find our agenda for summer preview on page 4. This outlines all of your time during summer preview today and tomorrow. Next steps for you to complete before August and move-in can be found on page 8. Now, this morning, we are going to spend some time hearing from several campus partners. Following these messages, students will be dismissed to go eat with their small group leaders, and you will spend some time in your small groups the rest of the day participating in academic advising and various other activities around campus. Families, when students leave for lunch, you will stick around here in the auditorium to hear from a panel of current students and get all of your questions answered. Following your panel, we will walk you over to lunch. This afternoon, students will come back to Harper to grab your bags and head to check-in to the residence hall. You'll spend the evening with a student panel and some fun night activities before calling it a night. Families, you will have the opportunity to attend a conference-style breakout sessions from various campus partners. You can find more information on the breakout sessions on page 9 of your agenda. And to close out the day, all of you families are invited to a family reception at 3:30 just outside the auditorium in the Harper Atrium, right outside these doors. Enjoy appetizers and drinks and the chance to interact with other families visiting today, as well as some more of our professional staff. Tomorrow, we invite you to join us for an optional breakfast and Brandeis tomorrow morning for all of you students. Breakfast will be available starting at 7 a.m. Starbucks and Harper here will also be open starting at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Students and families will meet back up to hear from student life and to learn what's coming up next after summer preview. There will be a few things happening tomorrow afternoon around registration, and we'll give you more details about those tomorrow morning. Again, we are so excited to have you here on campus. I have a few tips for you to make the most out of your summer preview experience. First, New Student Orientation has a great team who has thoughtfully prepared everything today to help you start at Creighton. Remember to ask questions and that we are here to help all of you. Second, there is a lot to learn, and it's okay if you can't get it all down today. Materials from our program are available on our webpage as well as on our YouTube channel. You guys can reference these later after summer preview or later on today. Today will not be the last opportunity you have to interact with campus offices or in any campus resources. My third and final tip for you all is to just have fun. We know that you're experiencing probably a wide range of emotions right now, and we hope that your orientation experience is enjoyable and informative and gets you excited to be a Blue Jay. I would now like to welcome our provost, Dr. Mardell Wilson, to give you all some words of encouragement as you begin this new adventure. I'll turn it over to Dr. Wilson.
Thank you, Joseph. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, Jays. I'll say class of 2028. As Joseph said, I'm Mardell Wilson. I have the honor and privilege of serving as provost and chief academic officer here at Creighton, which really is a responsibility for your students' experience 24/7. Meaning everything that happens in the classrooms. I have a wonderful group of deans that I work with, as well as a tremendous staff, a vice provost, associate vice provost for their experiences outside of the classroom. This year marks my 30th year in higher education. Don't do the math. And what I'll say is I have the honor and the privilege to have 3 really exciting times of year. Today is one of them, when we get to see new faces come to campus. Another one is in August, when we get to help you move into the residence hall. And truly, there is a whole army of individuals who will help with that. And then the final one that I have annually is commencement. There's nothing better than welcoming students and then graduating students. I came in right as Joseph was asking who was sending their various individuals off to college first only, and who are my potential empty nesters again. It's a lot of enthusiasm I heard. So I sat in your seats last year, and I am officially an empty nester, and I am here to tell you it is not bad at all. However, I promise you we don't have like incubation units, but it does seem like things grow while they're here. So when they come home for summer, did we send you to school with all those things? But it is a tremendous time for families. And I just want to, again, extend my welcome and know that today starts the day of your Creighton experience officially. At Creighton, we embrace formation of the whole person based upon our Catholic Jesuit values. We do this by carefully considering the learning opportunities that occur both inside as well as outside our classrooms. The summer preview experience will give you just a taste of what you can expect when you return in the fall. During your time here, you will engage with Creighton's mission and identity, giving you the opportunity to grow spiritually, regardless of your own faith tradition. Our 8 instructional colleges and schools with their world-class faculty are really available to you at your fingertips in what is a very beautiful and walkable campus. They provide opportunities for collaboration and undergraduate research, and you'll find professors really who truly care and who will challenge you as they also offer really valuable mentorship. The diversity of our campus will provide opportunities for you to experience people and traditions with a wide variety of backgrounds and cultures. You will find what the tens of thousands of Creighton alumni have discovered here, the intellectual, social, spiritual environment that you need to grow into your very best self. But most importantly, you will make wonderful friendships. You may already know who your roommate is. I heard that last week, and you're meeting up today at Preview together. You might meet that roommate here. But if you look left or look right, there very well could be someone who you'll send a birthday card to 30 years from now, or who will dance at your weddings. Be reminded that the hallmark of a Creighton education is that we do not tell you what to think. We teach you how to think. Make no mistake, we are here to challenge you. to make you dig deep inside yourself, to work hard and to learn to think critically. Your time here will help you discover your true passion, what will motivate you to share your talents and make changes in your communities and in your world. So over the course of the school year, please be sure to take advantage of the many resources you're going to learn about here today. This truly is a place where we come every day thinking of nothing more than your success. As I mentioned, this is my 30th year in higher education. I grew up on a farm in central Illinois where work ethic was taught early and often, I'll say. And sometimes if I got up and I wasn't feeling so well, my mother's line to me was always, just take a shower and go to school, you'll feel better. And I've been taking a shower and going to school ever since. And I do feel better. And many of the people who choose to work here at Creighton's, who make their life's vocation and profession the interest of your child or you as students, is truly the difference we have. So again, my sincere welcome. We are excited to have you as Jays, and we hope that you have a wonderful experience. I know it's a little bit of information overload, but there's plenty of people to ask questions to along the way, and I look forward to seeing you in August. Take care.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Wilson. I would now like to introduce Anna Vo, our panel and family executive, and she'll be hosting the rest of the morning for all of you. So now I'll transition it over to Anna.
Thank you, Joseph. Good morning, everyone. My name is Anna Vo, and I am the Family Panel and Family Sessions Exec for Summer Preview. Now we will be transitioning into the part of our day where we'll be hearing informative presentations from various campus partners. To begin, we will be hearing about our Jesuit identity and how Creighton lives out our Jesuit values. I now welcome Robbie Francis from Campus Ministry to speak about our Jesuit identity.
Good morning. As Anna said, my name is Robbie Francis, and I serve as the Director of Campus Ministry here at Creighton. What that means is that I am a part of a team that is here to support you in your spiritual and your faith development during your time here at Creighton. Campus Ministry falls under a division that is titled Mission and Ministry, the Division of Mission and Ministry. Our mission is so important to us here at Creighton that we have an entire division that is dedicated to opportunities of formation for staff, faculty, and students while they're at Creighton. One of the things I like to say is that Creighton doesn't actually have a mission, though. It is our Jesuit mission that has a university. It is our mission that guides everything that we do, that guides how the Jesuit values are weaved into our programs, into the classroom, into the residence halls. So one of the things that I want to talk about first is what does this word Jesuit mean? What are some of the other ways that the Jesuits are involved? So these are some of the Jesuit ministries that they do throughout the world. They're involved in education, they run parishes, they lead retreat centers. Creighton actually has a retreat center that's about 45 minutes away in Griswold, Iowa. There are volunteer opportunities such as the Jesuit Volunteer Corps and the Ignatian Volunteer Corps. And they do advocacy to try and right the wrongs that are present in the world. Before I go too deeply into our Jesuit history and our Jesuit tradition, I want to test your knowledge. So I have some trivia questions for you. So the first one, who founded the Jesuits? Was it A, St. Francis Xavier, B, St. Ignatius of Loyola, or C, St. Vincent de Paul? And I'm going to invite you to collectively shout out the letter that you think is the right answer. B, good job. All right. Jesuit is short for A, the Society of Jesus, B, Friends of Jesus, or C, the Company of Jesus. Hey, good job. That one was a little confusing for folks at the last one. Oh, sorry, I thought I skipped ahead too. Magis, one of the core Jesuit values, means A, giving with a grateful heart, B, striving for more, or C, care of the person. Ooh, I need confidence. Striving for more, B. That one can be confusing because oftentimes we hear the more, not just striving for more. The founder of the Jesuits is St. Ignatius of Loyola, and I just want to share a little bit about this man. Ignatius was born in the late 1400s in the Basque region of Spain. He was born to a very influential family, and he himself desired to be a person of affluence. He really wanted to be a person in the spotlight. He was known for having a really attractive personality. He was also known for being very arrogant, and he was known for having a temper. In fact, he is one of the only saints that actually has a criminal record. He would start brawls in the middle of the street and then have to spend the night in jail. So this is the beginnings. At one point in his life, in his early 30s, he was involved, he was in the army. There was a war between Spain and France. And against the advice of his leaders, he decided to lead a group to the front lines. And while they were there, a cannonball was shot and went between his legs. It injured one of his legs and completely shattered the bones in his other leg. And so he was forced to reside in bed for a number of months as he recovered. Now, this is in the days before live streaming and online books or anything like that. So he was pretty bored out of his mind. The only thing he really had to sit with were his thoughts, his imagination. He had a very active imagination. And the two books that we're told were present in the house, in the castle where he was staying with his family. One book was on the life of Jesus, and the other book was on the life of the saints. And so as he read and reread these books, with his active imagination, he started to place himself in these stories. And he began to imagine, what would it look like if I were doing these great things for God, like this person is doing or this person is doing? In fact, remember, he's very arrogant. I bet I could do it even better than they did it. What he started to notice, though, as he was living through these imaginations, is that the feelings that were moving inside of him, that as he would imagine himself living this life for God, he started to feel this joy and this peace, what he called consolation. And we began to imagine the old life that he had envisioned for himself. He felt a lack of peace, a sadness, what he came to call desolation. And he began to notice that these movements, or spirits as he called them, were how God was speaking to him in that moment. That he could trust those inner movements to guide him in where he was supposed to go, and to pay attention to how God was calling him. So after he recovered, he became a pilgrimage. He became a pilgrim, visiting holy sites and writing out these experiences that he was having, writing something that would eventually be called, and is still called, the Book of the Spiritual Exercises, which was a collection of meditations used to help others come to these insights. And he gathered a group of guys and began the Jesuits with these first folks. He moved them, led them through the exercises, and then they wanted a piece of this too. So eventually became the Jesuits. This is the foundation of Jesuit education. This is what makes Jesuit education different from where you might go to other places. It is about moving through that life journey of coming to know who you are, recognizing what are the voices within, the spirits within, the movements within that are from God, and those which are not from God, to help you understand who you're supposed to become, who you're called to become. We don't just want the things that you learn in the classroom to stay up here so that you can go on and get a job or go on for further studies. We want it to move to here. We want what you learn to form you, to shape you, and understand who you are called to be. So when you go to your classes, you bring your life, your personal, individual, unique experience. You learn, you reflect, you act, and you continue through that cycle of the Ignatian pedagogy. And we do this at 189 universities across the world. During your time here, and as you're shaped into who you're called to become, we hope that you also reflect on who you want to be outside of your time at Creighton. that you learn about what does it mean for you to be a person with and for others, to be with someone who cares for others, to be someone who advocates for change, become someone who understands and sees how God is present in all things. And my hope for you in your time here is that you will take those opportunities to engage in our mission. As I said, Creighton doesn't have a mission. Our Jesuit mission as a university that we call Creighton. And I hope that you will take those opportunities in the classrooms, in the programs you get involved in your friendships that you develop. Just want to name a few opportunities to be able to dive deeper into our mission that are offered through campus ministry and through our sister office called the Schlegel Center for Service and Justice, or the SCSJ. And so we have a freshman retreat that'll take place towards the beginning of the semester out at Creighton's Retreat Center. Registration is open and is filling up for that. So if that's something you're interested in, I would encourage you to go to our website and learn more about that, or stop at our table tomorrow. Also, the SCSJ, which focuses on opportunities for engagement in the community, has opportunities starting at the beginning of the year for you to get involved in the local community. And so I would encourage you to stop by their office as well, or their table as well. You all, it is such a privilege to be with you this morning. I just want to end with saying welcome to Creighton, and welcome to our Ignatian Jesuit family. And we look forward to seeing you here in August. Have a good day.
Thank you, Robbie, for sharing what our Jesuit identity means here at Creighton. Our next presentation is Key to Success, where we'll be hearing from Randy and Ryan from the Office of Academic Success. This session provides practical tools and guidance to help students and families navigate the transition from high school to the Creighton classroom.
Hello. Good morning. I know it's early. So I was.
But we've also heard you laughing a lot, so we know you can do it.
Right, and we're hilarious. So I was just sitting over there listening to everything, and I realized that no matter how often we do this or speak in front of people, I still get nervous, which I think is a good thing because it tells me that I still care after 8 years of being here at Creighton. But I'm Ryan McLaughlin. We have been doing this presentation at Summer Preview for several years now, and it's really based in a lot of the feedback, not only our professional experience and expertise, but the feedback that we get from families and students.
Yep, this is Keys to Success. We represent the Office of Academic Success. I am Randy Bibbins. I am the Director of Academic Success and part of a larger community of resources here at Creighton, and specifically a part of the area called Student Success. And we are really delighted to be with you here to welcome you to Creighton and to get you ready for the academic transition that is going to take place for you over both students and families over the next few months. And we're going to talk about some things that we want you to be thinking about really in the time between now and when you come back for Welcome Week. There are really some ways that you can start thinking that are going to prepare you for the academic changes that are coming your way. So speaking of change, we're going to talk about the idea of what that change is kind of all about and what it looks like using the analogy of teaching someone how to drive. So can you raise your hand if you have ever learned how to drive? Okay, all right. So raise your hand if you have ever taught someone how to drive. Okay, all right. So this is a pretty familiar experience. It can be, there's a lot of different feelings that can go along with it. Just click the, oh, see, okay, right? Okay, there's a nice one behind there, but I think the universe wanted us to see this one because the other one won't show. So students, I want you to think about the first time you got behind the wheel of a car, not just kind of driving around the parking lot, but you were going to pull out into traffic. Like how did that feel? I just taught 2 people how to drive in the last couple of years, my son most recently. And we'll talk about him. But I asked them for some of their feedback and it was like feelings of like excited. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a lot of independence. I'm able to pick people up and we're gonna go to the pool or whatever. But also kind of a little bit scary, terrifying at times, sometimes thinking, why is somebody letting me do this? It can be kind of overwhelming sometimes because at some point you probably, hopefully, experience the moment where you're like, okay, this is a lot of responsibility, right? Kind of, I'm in charge here. I can't rely on somebody else to do this for me. If something happens, I need to kind of have a new kind of awareness of my environment because this is a big responsibility. Independence, yes. Responsibility, yes. Both things together. For parents, you kind of think about the first time that you moved over to the passenger seat. And again, not just kind of drove around the parking lot with this person, but let's think about getting on the interstate with this person, right? That can be a little bit scary. I know it was in my case. And for my son, when he went to get his learner's permit, the written portion of the test, it took him 3 tries. Right, so we went back, we studied a little bit more, we went back, we realized that we actually needed to pay attention to the studying, we went back, right? Passed that test, and so we had kind of a rocky start. It was kind of a rocky year. At some point, it was kind of after the winter break where it was snowing and we didn't drive much. He kind of had, it was kind of weird, it was like, oh, he's a little bit better. He's doing better. He's paying more attention. He seems to be taking it a little bit more seriously. And then by the time we got to his driving test, the driving portion, 2 weeks ago now, he passed it with flying colors. It was during the middle of a thunderstorm, and the instructor actually came out and said, who taught him how to drive? It was me. So.
Flip your hair.
You know, it was me. He's like, oh, he said, that Max did a great job. He said he was really impressed and whoever taught him had done a great job. So it was a tough year. There's a lot that happened, but in order for him to get the experience that he needed to be confident, for me to feel like I could trust him, all of that stuff, we had to have that rocky year. He had to be in the driver's seat. Students, you have to be in the driver's seat in order for that to happen. Parents, we can't make that happen any other way, but by letting them do it. And transitioning to college is pretty much like that, right? So there's going to be some challenges. There's going to be moments of great pride. Sometimes things are going to be like, we're going to want to grab that wheel, and we can do a lot of helping parents, but we have to let the kids stay in the driver's seat. We are, luckily, students, you won't be doing this alone. Parents, you won't be just leaving them all alone. You'll still be there, and we're here to help guide too. So there's lots of resources, and we're going to talk a lot about that today.
Yeah, so today our goals are really to recognize the differences between high school and college. Some of those I think are pretty obvious and we think about them often as this time of year approaches. We hope that you understand the resources and how to use them and when to use them. As Joe said, you don't have to do this by yourself. And really understand, again, what Joe said as he was speaking to you before we started, understand the importance of a growth mindset in this transition.
All right, so to talk about that, we're going to start with a chart kind of with the differences between high school and college. We think it's really important to understand that while most of you students are coming here with a set of skills and strategies that helped you to be successful in your high school environment, and by senior year, you've really kind of mastered like that environment and what you need to do to be successful. A lot of those skills and strategies are going to transfer here, but because college is structurally different and the like the guiding principles about why we do things that we do in high school and college are really different. We want you to recognize that all of the things that you did in high school are not going to translate here to college, and that's okay. And we think that students and families are more successful when they recognize from the get-go that things are going to be a little bit different, so that if there's a challenge or something that's unforeseen, instead of thinking, well, why can't I do this? I know how to do this. Maybe I'm not supposed to be here after all. What am I going to do? We just think, okay, that's something that worked there, but it probably isn't working here because of this. And then we use resources to kind of address it and fix it. So that first thing is independence and responsibility. So those first three lines on the chart in yellow. Think about the guiding principle in high school, as far as that's concerned, is that families and adults are the ones who are taking the lead in a student's educational journey. So they really are in charge. Things happen for students and around students that the students aren't sometimes not even involved in, like parents and teachers might have communication back and forth with emails. Parents have full access to looking at grades and stuff through like the Sycamore tree system and stuff like that. You might have a meeting with coaches or whatever that has nothing really to do with students, and then the plan is enacted. Whereas in college, students are taking the lead in this educational journey, and they're managing their information. They're really seen as the responsible party. So for students, that change is happening for you right now. And for parents, that change is happening for you too. And that can often be a real something to really get used to, particularly for parents, because you're not necessarily going to have all of the information that you've had when your child was in high school. So this is a time to start thinking about how are you going to structure your relationship now in a different way, so that you, parents, are getting the information that you need, and students, you are providing your parents with the information that they need to make sure that they can feel that you are responsible and capable of taking and of managing that new responsibility and doing what you need to do. So one of the things that you can do to facilitate that is with this information flow thing, parents and students, because of FERPA rights, which is something that there's information about FERPA in your program. We recommend that you have a conversation about access to those records. So when you turn 18 or when you are enrolled in a post-secondary institution, access to rights is no longer automatically, access to records and information is no longer automatically available to parents. So students, you can give your parents access to that. But again, that's a conversation that you can start right now. Having a kind of an adult conversation to facilitate that transfer.
Oh,
Oh,
there we
things
go.
are happening.
Next slide. Next slide, please. There we go.
There we go.
Okay, so some of these differences that we're going to talk about in terms of learning and academics, I think many of you have already started to kind of process and think about. But first and foremost, class time. So as you're growing up, you spend 7 hours to 8 hours a day in class, kind of like a full-time job. When you get to college, you're only going to have 12 to 16, maybe 18 hours of time in the classroom, okay? Our advice is that you start to think of college as a full-time job. So if I'm only spending 12 to 18 hours a week in the classroom, how do I make up to get to that 40, 35 hours a week I've been spending in school up to this point? The answer is you study, you go to office hours, you read your textbooks, you prepare for the next exam, even though that next exam is weeks away. A lot of your classes are not going to have those homework assignments. I shouldn't say a lot, but some of your classes won't have those tangible homework assignments. So I always say that, well, you kind of have to make up your homework in a way. Even though it's not for points, I'm studying for this exam tonight because there's so much information being thrown at me. I want to be ready 2 weeks from now. Okay. So again, exams are going to be more frequent in high school. Again, you have all those points that are kind of making things up with daily homework assignments, which kind of take the place of daily studying. Less frequent in college. You might have some classes where you only have 3 exams total. So that speaks to the importance of being able to study on a regular basis. And instructors are a little different. So in high school, you're kind of a passive recipient of information because that's your teacher's job, is to give you the information that you need. In college, they're content experts who you need to be proactive with to get the information that you want to know that's going to be on that exam. They're not going to give you every single thing that's going to be on that exam, but they'll have videos posted and readings posted and articles posted. So it's up to you to be proactive to find that information within those materials that are provided for you. Okay? We talk about the 80-20 rule. Very simply put, as that passive recipient of information, 80% of it is given to you. 20% of the work is completing homework assignments and preparing for an exam. In college, 20% of that is given to you and 80% of that time is spent you being proactive, finding that information and being prepared for the exam as it approaches.
And when you think about, can I pop back up to proximity really quick because I think I kind of skipped that one. That's really important. When you're thinking about, one of the things in high school, that's kind of a big difference is that, teachers, parents, you know where your kids are most of the time. And teachers, we know the school is able to find your students. So if there was something that needed to be done, a paper that needed to be assigned and an assignment that hadn't been completed, it was we could send a pass, we could ask you right after class, parents, they could come, you could talk to them at dinner, whatever the case may be. So we could get students, we could get things done. Whereas in college, we don't have that proximity. Families, if your student is going to be living off campus, you are not going to be able to reach them every day to get them to do things. Teachers, we and university staff, we don't see kids on the same like regular basis. So students, that again is where this independence piece really comes into play. We really need you to get to us. There are all kinds of things. Your instructors really do want to support you. There are all kinds of things that you could do in Office of Academic Success for support, but we need you to get to us. The one thing that we can't do for you is to get you to our doors, but if you can get to our doors, we can make sure that you get the things that you need.
Yep. Again, a little graphic about that 80-20 principle. Anything to add there?
Oh, I think we're good.
Okay, so that moves us to time management. And time management in the Office of Academic Success is easily the main reason that we see students in their first year of college.
For sure.
Yes. So in high school, or as you're growing up, your time is managed for you. I'll have students that'll sit with me and go, no, I was great at managing my time. Was on time to school, never missed practice, always made it to my job. What they don't realize is that the school bell told you when to be at school, or your parents. A coach told you when practice started. A boss told you when your shift starts. So you were good at showing up on time.
Which is good.
Which
That
is a
very
wonderful
important.
skill.
Yes, it's a very, very good skill.
So bring that with you.
Yes.
But self-management requires you to determine what you're going to do with time that has nothing scheduled in it. Many students who are not yet fully involved in the university, which is not uncommon in your first semester, again, 12 to 16 hours a week where you know exactly where you need to be, that leaves a whole lot of time throughout the week where students will say, I have so much time on my hands. And that is a little red flag for us where we go, oh yeah, what have you been doing?
Yeah.
So if you're feeling that way in your first semester, come see us. Again, using these resources when it's on your terms, before you think it's a major issue or a problem or you're scared about something, makes it a lot easier to do because you're walking in confident saying, I'm going to do this because I want to talk to somebody about it.
And this self-management is really important. A lot of times we don't realize how much that routine and structure is helping us to be successful. So it's really, really crucial to pay attention to that in the first couple of weeks. And if you're finding yourself kind of sitting around or kind of feeling lost, come see us and we'll talk to you about that. So let's talk about using resources. So we are, like I said, a part of a larger group called Student Success, was here to make sure students, you are successful and have the things you need from starting right now all the way until you graduate and beyond. We are located, we are the Office of Academic Success. We're going to talk a little bit about our student accessibility services. And then you have the opportunity to hear more about these offices, parents, in a later breakout session if you're interested in all of the things that Student Success provides. But Office of Academic Success is us. We're very proud to offer a variety of resources for students. Everything that we do is free. Everything that we do is easily accessible and friendly. It's kind of an easy way to access resources, and we're a place that you can come if you, even if you don't know exactly what you need. The Success Center, which is where we're located on the lower level of the library, or one of our success hubs that are located in every one of the first year halls, are places where you can stop and ask those questions. Again, you might not know what question to ask, but if you show up in one of those doors and say, this is what's going on, I don't know what to do, we can help you figure out what to do. You don't have to come prepared with a list of perfect questions to use any of the resources here. So we have all of these multiple locations where we make it easy and convenient. And what we like to say is, like, using resources is the Creighton way. Like, this is something that we've worked really, really hard over the last 10 years to kind of change this culture. A lot of students come to us with the idea that seeing a tutor or working with an academic coach or something like that are things that students who aren't doing very well do. In high school, sometimes those programs were reserved for students who are failing classes, or at some other universities, there's tutoring and stuff for students in particular programs. But here in Creighton, everything that we do is available to every single student, which makes coming through our doors, it just kind of lowers the stakes, because you can do it proactively, which is what we recommend that every single person in this room do. Whether it's tutoring or scheduling an academic coaching appointment, we recommend that during the first few weeks, you just make it a part of your plan that you are going to use tutoring or academic coaching. You'll go in, our tutors are trained. They're there to, at the beginning of the semester, they're prepared to answer questions like, did you have this professor? What should I focus on in class? How many hours a week do you think I should study? We professional academic coaching, we do study schedules and help you make calendars, all kinds of stuff. But it's a much different thing when you go in by yourself and kind of set that standard as a person who's taking control of their academic career, as opposed to after a test or some feedback on a paper that you didn't like and having to kind of go in then. So we want you to take control, because that's really an adult thing to do.
Yeah, and Randy kind of touched on this, but one thing that I want to point out with tutoring is there's drop-in tutoring 5 nights a week in math, chem, bio, and physics, and we did not choose those classes out of thin air, as you can imagine. So that's a really easy way to get familiar with our office, be able to speak with the tutor, and the tutors that we hire, we often look for students who have used tutoring in the past. And part of that Jesuit value and Jesuit identity is, well, I use this, it worked for me, and now I'd like to learn it and give back to those students behind me. All right.
All right, and I don't know, I didn't touch on it, but I hope that you paid attention a couple slides back to our numbers. We have over 6,000 tutoring visits a year. We have 1,200 plus academic coaching visits a year, and all that is voluntary. We are not, most of the stuff that we do in academic success is not required. So that's students who are getting support and they're coming back because they know that it works. So if you're using any of those resources, you will not be alone. We got lots of people coming in. All right, so this is just our kind of network of support as first-year students. These are the people that you are likely to come into contact with. All over here, this is our Office of Academic Success staff. We have 4 professional staff, and then Rebecca Meyer, who is our grad assistant. This will be her second year in the GA position, and she's outstanding. And we have Richie Mersick, if you are a nursing student. We have Richie Mersick, who works a lot with our nursing students, and then our athletics staff who work with our athletes. We also have, we kind of set the stage for academic support here at Creighton, but if you were to move on into any of our grad or professional programs, we have academic success programs in each one of those two, whether in pharmacy or School of Law, School of Med. We have academic success support there too, because we know that this is how people become successful. We use the resources that are available. I also want to make a nod to Student Accessibility Services. This is our office that makes sure that qualified students, if students have a qualifying disability, that they're receiving the accommodations that they are entitled to. So if you are a student who had a 504 plan or an IEP in high school, we strongly recommend that you get connected with this office ASAP. There's a QR code there. You can also Google Creighton Student Accessibility Services or Creighton Accommodations, and you will be taken to the webpage. We want you to handle this like right now. And one of the good things I think about college is that you have control over what accommodations that you use and when you use those. So you can get connected with this office right now, get registered because it's a bit of a process. And then if you need those resources or when you need those resources in the fall, you have access to them. If sometimes students, which we do not recommend, sometimes students are like, well, maybe I want to try it without. We want, if you decide to go that route, still do this because if you have your first exam and it doesn't go well, none of these resources are retroactive. You have to, it won't, the accommodations don't take place until you have this in place. So, and it takes a little while again. So we want you to get this done in advance. Parents know that your student has to be the one who initiates this process and does the communication with the office. You can be in the passenger seat, but the student really has to be driving. All right, so finally, we're going to end up with some tips from your friends in academic success. So what we recommend is that you, students, you get ready to ask a lot of questions and use the resources that are available to you. We will be in front of you several more times. Ryan's going to show you a list here. We'll be in front of you several more times to make sure that you know how to get in touch with these things, when you know where to find us. Families, we want you to ask questions too, but don't get carried away because then they'll stop answering you. We want you to get to know the resources as well so that you can point your child, your student in the direction of those resources. We would love it if you, again, do that job from the passenger seat, provide those resources, but then allow the students to do the driving. Students, we encourage you to start making it easier for your parents to treat you like a young adult because there's going to be that big change coming. So you can start taking responsibility for some things to show that you can do that. Families, you can practice treating your student like a young adult as well. So some of the things that we recommend are like, parents, you can start putting your kid in charge of like buying all their own toiletries and shampoo and paying attention when stuff is about to run out so that they can go and buy their own. There are lots of things that are going to be taking up a lot of headspace for students come the fall. So if there are those types of little things, we watch students really spiral about these things. And it's taking up a lot of time.
Prescriptions,
Yeah.
doctor's
Prescriptions,
appointments.
making doctor's appointments, waiting for the nurse call back, going to pick up on that prescription and getting the insurance card. All of those things are things that are pretty big things that we're trying to figure out. And we want to get those out of the way so that we can save room for being anxious for the things that we can't practice in advance. All right, and those, we're going to make mistakes, but you're coming to a place that is built to support you students through those mistakes. And the earlier you can get to us, the earlier you can use the resources, then the more likely it is that we can have these stretch mistakes, which are things that are just going to happen when you're learning new things, and they're really important, as opposed to like these high stakes mistakes that are really hard to recover from. Most things are not high stakes mistakes, no matter how important this step in your life is. All right, finally, we're going to be here.
Yeah, so be sure to say hi at move-in, because that'll be the next time you see us. But we'll also be in front of you during welcome week. So we'll see you then as well. Couple other things to keep in mind there. Hippocampus, I'll point out, is a seminar that we do every fall. It's a great way to meet people. It's a great way to get out of your residence hall for a couple nights and come get the greatest hits of academic success, as we like to call it. So here's all of our info. And welcome to the family. And thanks for having us.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Randy and Ryan, for sharing about academic success. We will now transition into a quick break between sessions. If you need to use the restroom, there are some on the first, second, and third floors that you can use. And please be back by 10:20 for our dollars and cents presentation.
Yeah.
Welcome back from the break. This session, Dollars and Cents, will be presented by the Student Financial Services Office. This session will help you learn how to navigate your student account in the TouchNet payment portal, understand your options to pay for college, and discover student employment opportunities.
Thank you. All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Colby Hilwa. I am one of the undergraduate financial aid counselors here. Today, I'm joined with my colleagues Sarah and Monique to discuss our roles within the student records and financial services area here at Creighton, which encompasses the financial aid office, student employment, and the business office. So I'll start things off with the financial aid piece of everything and hopefully give you some insight into things to expect both this year and moving forward. Okay, so to start things off, from a financial aid standpoint of things, the majority of the aid that we award does come from a student's FAFSA data. Now, completing the FAFSA isn't necessary for enrollment here at Creighton, but it does help in determining further aid eligibility for your student outside of any, awarded scholarship aid that a student may already have. To apply, you can either go to the fafsa.ed.gov website that's listed on the screen there, or you can go to studentaid.gov. Both will navigate you to the right place for that. If you haven't done so, you can still apply for the FAFSA. There is no harsh deadline to apply for the FAFSA, at least not until you get closer to the end of the academic school year. However, we do suggest trying to do one prior to the start of classes, if possible. That way we can get an award package out to your student prior to any billing that might be due. The submission process for the FAFSA doesn't needs to be completed on a year-by-year basis. Any aid that's awarded from the FAFSA doesn't carry over from year to year, so doing that process each year would be needed. And then through this process, there is a process called verification that a student may be selected for. This can come either from the Department of Ed or from the institution itself, and is used just to verify the information that's reported on the FAFSA. If a student is selected for verification, then they just need to submit any documentation for this to our office directly, and we'll review it and update as needed. Next, I'd just like to talk about budgets. Now, each student is assigned a budget called a cost of attendance budget, which includes both direct and indirect expenses. For direct expenses, this would include any tuition and fees, as well as any food and housing related expenses, such as your meal plan or your residence hall. As for the indirect expenses, this would be any non-billable things that students can still see, such as their books and supplies or any kind of personal or travel related expenses. These items aren't billed directly to the student, but we still accommodate for them in the budgets just in case students need to borrow additional funding to help towards those costs. Next, I just want to talk about the types of aid that students can see. Usually it gets broken into 3 categories. You have scholarship aid, grant aid, and loan aid. For scholarship aid, any aid that's awarded to your student at the time of getting admitted into Creighton does come from the admissions office. However, there are opportunities to garner further scholarship aid, both internally and externally here at Creighton. For any internal scholarship aid, what we typically suggest is that students work with whomever their academic advisor is. Each student should get assigned their own advisor for that. Most of the internal scholarship aid that's awarded does come from their program directly. So working with your advisor or even the dean's office of your program is a good first starting point for that, to kind of see what opportunities may exist. For grant aid, this is need-based aid awarded directly from the financial aid office. And similar to scholarship aid, this aid does not need to be repaid back. The amounts of this funding can vary from year to year, just based off of the student's FAFSA. So if there are changes on the FAFSA, you may see changes to that award as well. Grant aid will either come from Creighton itself, in the form of the Creighton University grant, or from the federal or state level, such as the federal Pell Grant. And then lastly, for loans, when our office builds financial aid award packages, students can have the option of being awarded either a federal direct loan, such as the subsidized or unsubsidized loan, or the Creighton Undergraduate Institutional Loan, which is a need-based loan awarded directly from the university. For the subsidized and unsubsidized loan, the biggest difference between these is the interest accrual for those. Subsidized loans do not accrue interest while you are enrolled at least half time, whereas unsubsidized loans will start accruing interest right away. Starting on July 1st, the interest rate for these is 6.53%, and there is origination fees of 1.057% that get taken at the time of each loan disbursement. So what that means is that the disbursed amount for these loans would be a little bit less than that accepted total because of those fees that they take out. There is also deferred repayment of these loans of 6 months after the student either graduates or drops below half-time enrollment. For the institutional loan, similar to the subsidized loan, this does have deferred interest while the student is enrolled at least half-time. The interest rate for this is 6%, and there's a deferred repayment of 9 months after the student graduates or drops below half-time. And all three of these loans do have additional requirements tied to their disbursements. This would include the loan entrance counseling for both the subsidized and unsubsidized loans, as well as the master promissory note for both the federal and institutional loan. All right, and then lastly here, I just want to talk on some additional aid options that might be available outside of what's already been awarded to your student to help with those remaining costs. In most cases, our office typically suggests either the Parent Plus loan or a federal direct Parent Plus loan or a loan with a private student loan lender. For the Parent Plus loan, this is a federally funded loan applied for under the parents' information through the student aid website or that FAFSA website. To apply, the parents would just need to log into that FAFSA website and complete the application process through there. Once applied for, this information does get sent over to our office directly to review and get updated as needed. I guess starting on July 1st, the interest rate for the Plus loan is 9.08%. And it also does have origination fees of 4.228%, similar to the subsidized and unsubsidized loans. As for private loans, these are typically applied for under the student's information. However, cosigners may be required just depending on the lender that you use, as well as the borrower's information. If anybody's ever needing more information on private loans, our office does have a really great resource for these in the form of a loan comparison website. So just reach out to us and we'd be happy to provide that information to you. And then there's also other options such as 529 plans, personal loans, and home equity loans. I'm going to touch a little bit more on those here on my next slide. And then lastly, there are payment plan options available for students and families to sign up for. My colleague Monique's going to talk more on those in her portion of the presentation. All right, and then as briefly mentioned, 529 plans are available for students and families to use. To use this funding, families would just need to work with whomever their plan provider is for this to get the funding sent directly to our business office, and then we get it applied to the account from there. And then same kind of with personal loans or lines of credits, you would just work with your financial institution or whoever provided the loan to you to get the funding in place and have that paid directly to us. All right, and with that, that kind of touches base on everything that I have to talk with you guys here today. On the screen here, you can see our contact information as well as our location here on campus and the link to our university webpage. And with that, I just want to say thank you all for joining me today. If you guys have any questions, we are located in this building on the first floor, so please stop in and we'd be happy to help you out. And with that, I'm going to transition to Sarah to talk about student employment.
Thank you. Thank you, Colby. Whew, that's a lot of information, isn't it? But don't worry, we're here to help. I'm going to talk very briefly on student employment here on campus. Who likes to work? Who likes to earn money? Yeah. Parents who likes to see their students earning a little bit of money? Yes. Okay. So aside from earning money, there are lots of reasons to consider working on campus. Your schedule is going to be so flexible. Supervisors are going to work with you and your class schedule. Connections, it's a great way to meet students, faculty, staff. It's a great way to find out what you're interested in and what you're not interested in. And of course, money, that always helps. So there are two ways to be employed on campus here. First is through the Federal Work Study Program, and the second is to be hired by a department and paid through Creighton. So even if you are not Federal Work Study eligible, you can still work on campus. So let's start with Federal Work Study. You will know you're eligible because it would have been part of your financial aid award. It is based on the results of the FAFSA. Typically, a student's going to be awarded $4,000 a year. You do have to work the number of hours it will take to get to that $4,000. So basically you are working, you're getting paid. This is the allotment that the Federal Work Study Award is in your financial aid. You will be paid for work completed. This is not a credit to your tuition account. So if you decide you want to participate, follow these directions. You're going to accept this in your nest. You're going to complete the Federal Work Study Agreement, and then you're going to start to apply for jobs on Handshake. Even if you are not Federal Work Study eligible, This is going to be where you apply for jobs. So all students in here, Handshake is going to be where you look for jobs. You will be able to sign in, I believe now, actually, you'll use your Creighton credentials to get signed in. Check back throughout the summer. Postings are going to be continually updated. I'm hoping that we have our federal work study jobs posted towards the end of June, early July. And you'll notice when you filter Handshake, the jobs descriptions that start with FWS are specifically for federal work study students. Now, there is a kind of a behind the scenes filter. So if you're federal work study eligible, you will see those jobs. If you're not, you won't. But just keep that in mind as you begin your search. You can have more than one job on campus. That's okay. What you can't do, you cannot go over 29 hours a week in all of your campus jobs combined. That's a lot. Don't worry, most students are not working that many hours. Like I said earlier, most students are putting in about 8 to 10 hours a week. Some are working 4, some are working 15. It depends on you. It depends on your schedule. You can start out slow in the fall and increase as you go. You can wait to get started until second semester. We are very flexible. And just like any other job, you are going to have to do some paperwork. So you cannot begin working until you have completed your I-9 and your pre-employment forms. You will come in person to the student employment office, and that's Harper 1100. It's just on the lower level of this building, right down the hall. And typically for a student, the documentation you need to bring in to complete this process is going to be a passport, or a social security card, or a birth certificate. These must be the original document. It cannot be a copy, a scan, or a picture. So if you have those documents with you while you're here these next couple of days, come in anytime. We're open till 4:30. We'll process that, and then you will not have to worry about it when you come back in the fall. And if you don't have the printed forms, the W-4s, Nebraska W-4s direct deposit, we have everything there. We have a QR code when you get in to click to get your I-9 done. So just come see us. We'll take care of you and we'll get this taken care of. And then this is going to be the system you use. You'll learn about it later when you are hired and working with your supervisor. But like I said earlier, any job on campus is a paycheck to you, not to your tuition account. Currently, minimum wage in Nebraska is $12 an hour. It bumps up to $13.50 in January. So you will be guaranteed at least that amount. But different jobs on campus do have different wages. So like I said, we're available while you're here till 4:30 each day. Please come see us, get your paperwork done, and ask any questions you may have. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Monique, who's going to talk a little bit more about your tuition account.
Thanks, Sarah. Well, I don't know if has anyone welcomed you yet? Welcome to the Creighton family. I'm so excited you guys are here. On behalf of my office, I just want to welcome you. Sarah and I are both Creighton parents. Well, Sarah's daughter graduated, but I'm a current Creighton parent. Sarah's a past Creighton parent, and Colby will be a Creighton parent in about 15 years. So he has twins coming around the corner, but we are here to help you. So if you ever get and you're thinking, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't understand my bill, just come see us. We are here to help you as you go through your journey. The one thing I'm here to talk about mainly is your billing, the fun stuff, right? How many of you parents, this is your oldest child? Okay, or only, how about onlys? Okay, no onlys? Oh, one only, wow. Okay, 2 onlys. How about this is your middle? Okay, okay, how about the last? Oh, I see lots of, okay, keep those hands up. And the middles, keep your hands up. Look around, these are the experts, okay? How many people already have a Creighton student here? Okay, these are the pros. Look at put them back up. Okay, if you need something, go find those people today. So for us, the one question that we get most often is, I'm paying the bill. Why do I have to be authorized? This is not something that Creighton or any other college decides on. According to FERPA, when the student goes to college, the disclosure control switches from the parents to the students. So students, guess what? You're in charge now, right? So that means we cannot share information about your billing with your parents or other people unless you authorize them. Does that sound good to you? That means you might be the only one getting the billing information. That might not be so good for you. So students, I have a challenge for you. I have 3 tasks that I'd like you to complete before you come back in the fall, okay? The first one is up here. I need you to authorize your parent or someone else in your student account and in the Nest. There are 2 different authorizations. The Nest, you'll have the choice to authorize them for financial, academic, and behavioral. The second one is TouchNet, and that's our payment portal. So if you'd like your parents or someone else to have access to your billing information, you want to make sure that you authorize them. When will you get your billing statement? You're actually going to get an email notification that you have a statement ready, and the notifications are going to the student's Creighton email and to anyone that's authorized in their account. So another reason to authorize someone, right? So you're not the only one. Statements will be available mid-July for the fall semester. About July 17th is when you'll see that notification come to your email. If you're going to do a winter term, it'll be early December. And then for the spring semester, that will be in mid-December. When is your balance going to be due? The first day of each term. So when do classes start for the fall? Does anyone know? August 18th. Anyone else? The 20th. Good job, Sarah. Okay, Tuesday, August 20th. That's when your bill will be due. Okay. All right. What's going to be on that statement? Well, you're going to see charges. You're going to see your tuition, your food, your housing, health insurance, orientation fees. You'll see credits. Those are the good things, right? Scholarships, grants, loans, any changes that are made, you might see those later too, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But students, here's the second thing I want you to do before you come back in the fall. If you already have health insurance with your parents or someone else, you need to go in and fill out the waiver. It's a request to waive your health insurance. Otherwise, you're going to have that stay on your student account. It's about $1,900 each semester. If you don't waive that, it's going to stay on there. If you waive it and it's accepted, then that will be removed. So that's the second thing I'd like you to do before you come back. I'm going to go back to changes. Sometimes after the initial email sent that your statement's due in July or that it's available for you to look at, the student might add a parking charge. They might have a change in their schedule. So things might change a little bit. Just be aware of that. When you get your statement, it is only as current as the day it was issued. So log into the TouchNet account or log into your student account and look at the real-time statement or look at the balance. And then you'll get a more accurate picture of what's going on. We have 3 payment options for you. The first is online via our TouchNet system. The second is the old-fashioned way, the mail. And then the last one is our payment plan. If you choose to pay online, and this is our preferred method, you can pay with a checking or savings account. There's no fee for that. If you choose to use a credit or debit card, there is a convenience fee of 2.95%. Okay. And the mail, just make sure you put your student's net ID and name on the check so we know whose account to credit. If you're going to be requesting a 529 check, how many of you are going to be doing that? Okay. I would encourage you to do so as soon as you get your billing notification, because that can take a long time, especially during the beginning of a semester. I would allow for at least 15 business days in order for us to receive that and your account to be credited. The payment plan is a great option. It is semester-based. We bill you per semester, so each semester you would have to re-enroll for the payment plan. We have a 5-month payment plan that begins in August, and we have a 4-month that begins in September. The deadline for the 5-month is August 4th. You must be signed up for that payment plan by August 4th, and your first installment will come out on August 5th. No interest. There's a one-time enrollment fee of $50 and a $200 deposit. And that will go towards your balance. If you'd like to put down a larger deposit, you're certainly welcome. No fee. And again, if you use a credit card, there is that great convenience fee. The one thing about the payment plan, again, if there are changes made to your account and you've already set up the payment plan, it will automatically update. This is great. So you'll get a notification to let you know there's been a change to your payment plan. And then you can go in and take a look if hopefully it went down. Sometimes an outside scholarship might come in late and credit your account. Refunds, we don't see too much of this for freshmen, but as you get up in your years here at Creighton, you might see a refund coming, or maybe you get an outside scholarship check that comes in a little bit later and your account's already been paid. So students, this is the third thing, the three out of 3 that I want you to complete before you come back in the fall. Go into your TouchNet account, and in your nest, it's called student account, and sign up for direct deposit. You probably want to talk to your folks and whose account that's going to, but this will save you time. If you get a refund, you don't have to worry about a check getting lost. Parents, if you're going to do the PLUS loan, those automatically are a check that are mailed to you. It is a check that will be mailed to you. If you choose for your student to receive that refund, you will need to authorize them that you would like them to receive the Parent Plus refund. All right, if you have an unpaid balance, you're going to get a notification around the 1st of every month to let you know there's a balance due on your account. Students, do not ignore this. We've had tons of students that say, well, I thought mom and dad took care of that. I thought you took care of that. And they said, well, I didn't know. So if you get this email, ask your parents, come ask us. We're happy to tell you it's better than getting a late fee. An unpaid balance will result in a late fee every month that you have a balance due. And then eventually you could have a hold put on your account and you will not be able to register for classes. So again, if you get a notification that you have a balance due, please ask all of us and we will clarify that for you. Oh, I'm behind. Sorry. Okay, lastly, this is just kind of an overview of the business office webpage. The summer preview guidebook also has a resource hub for you, and they did put the business office webpage in there. So I encourage you to pull it up when you get home, maybe bookmark this on your computer. It will allow you to have access to the TouchNet logins for students and authorized users. There are step-by-step directions in here on how to authorize a user, payment plan details, and then tuition insurance information. Some of you might have stopped by our table earlier this morning and we gave you a little brochure about that. I highly recommend you look into it. It's very reasonable. This is a big investment. A lot of times we don't plan on things happening to our students, but unfortunately sometimes they do, and you get past a time frame when we can make a refund on what you've already paid. So I think it's about $250 for the whole year, and that will cover a lot of the things that we wouldn't be able to refund you on if that was to occur. The withdrawal policy can be found here, and then a student checklist of all the things that students need to do to keep their account in good standing. All right, again, do not hesitate. If you have questions, contact us. We are here for you. We want to make this easy. We are hosting an information table tomorrow between 10 and 11:30. Our office is open, as Colby and Sarah said. We're here all summer from 8 a.m. to 4:30, Monday through Friday. Students, my last thing, what were the 3 things that I asked you to do before you come back in the fall? Anyone? Just say it out loud. Authorize a parent or someone else. What? Everybody's talking. Okay. Request the insurance waiver. How about, what's the third one? Direct deposit. Okay, you guys are awesome. If you have questions, ask us. Thank you. And again, welcome to the Creighton family. We're excited to have you here.
Thank you, Student Financial Services, for speaking about dollars and cents. Now we will be hearing from Desiree Nouns and Allison Taylor at the Office of Title IX and Community Standards and Student Conduct about the expectations and opportunities to live in a positive community with others.
Good morning. We're going to get you through this, we promise. All right, my name is Desiree Nouns and I work in student life. I have the privilege of working with a bunch of different departments, one of them being new student orientation, so really excited you're here. And then also student conduct. So Allison and I have been working on conduct for a really long time, 44 years between the two of us. I know you're looking at us saying, oh my God, they must have started when they were 12. We did. I'm gonna let Allison introduce herself.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Allison Taylor and I oversee our Office of Title IX and Civil Rights Compliance. So in terms of conduct, I oversee any of those reports that have to do with discrimination, harassment, sexual harassment, all of that would come through my office.
All right, we're going to talk about community values today and really kind of setting you up for what we kind of expect and what we want you to come to Creighton knowing what your rights and responsibilities are. This is going to be a really quick presentation. We're not going to go into everything, but we're just going to set you up for success. So we hope you pay attention. So our first one is really helping you understand that everybody that comes to college here is worthy, right? We have that intrinsic worth that God has given us, that we know I belong here, you belong here, this community that I can be myself in. The second one is that we understand that we want to take care of one another, that we live in a community, we work in a community, and we go to school in a community that really understands injustices, wants to kind of right the wrongs, and we learn more about each other.
And part of those values are that we are a community that is supportive of one another. We're also one that is a community with accountability for one another. So if somebody is maybe stumbling, we're here to catch you when you fall, help get you right on the right path. But we're also a community where we want everyone to feel welcome, to feel that support. And that's a big part of who we are here at Creighton when we talk about those community values.
And a part of that, we know that you're coming to us from a place of acceptance, right? The place that you're coming from was your home for however long, but the people know you there, right? Your families know you, your friends know you, your teachers know you, your teammates know you, and they know you well and they understand everything that your experience might be a part of who you are at this point. So we get that, right? You are bringing all of that experience and all of that with you, but so is everybody else, right?
So with that, we know that in really less than 2 months, Creighton is going to become your home as well. And when you get here, you're going to meet a lot of new folks, and some of those people might become lifelong friends. Some of them may not, and that's okay too. You're also going to meet some great faculty and staff who might become great mentors, help you get on the path to that career that you envision, help you figure out what those next steps are for you. And with that, when you join this community, we want you to also be positive, productive, and healthy in the choices that you are making so that we can keep you on the path that obviously you chose to come to Creighton for a reason. That reason might be, hey, everybody else in my family went to Creighton. I was always going to come here. Maybe it's Creighton has a program I'm super interested in, or Creighton just made the most sense. Whatever that reason is, you decided to join our community and we're excited to have you here. With that, there's also some expectations. So how many of you had rules in high school? Show of hands. Okay, those of you without hands in the air, I'm guessing there were rules, but
We hoped you followed them.
we're assuming you followed them. You obviously knew that. So Creighton, just like any other school out there, we also have rules. And we're not going to go into depth on those at this exact moment, such as what happens when you play that super awesome music at 3 a.m. in your residence hall room. But parents, we are going to go into more depth on that at 2 p.m. in a breakout session. If you want to come visit with us, we're happy to answer those questions. But at a higher level today, what we're thinking, did I skip a slide there or did you move?
Change it up.
There you go. I'll let you go.
So here are kind of what we consider our 4 pillars. And these are really tied to those Jesuit values that our colleague Robbie Francis talked to you about this morning, right? So you remember all those good things about kind of AMGG, for and with others, all of those things, right? So all of these pillars are directly tied to those values. So when we talk about integrity, we really want you to do the right thing when no one's looking. And that includes in your personal, your professional, and your academic life, right? So that really encompasses everything, every experience that you might have here that you've had in the past. We really want you to strive to have that integrity. And we have, again, like we're going to talk about this in our breakout session, we have a couple of violations that are tied to that first one. The second one is dignity. So respect and promote the dignity of all persons. And I can tell you that this one not only is my favorite one, it's the most important one. I respect you just like you respect me, right? I want you to have a good experience just like I want to have a good experience. This is really the backbone in any kind of a relationship, whether it be a peer, whether it be a personal relationship, whether it be with faculty and staff. This respect and promote the dignity is really important. Our third one, and this one is probably the one we see the most, is just these community expectations, right? How do I follow the rules, the laws of the nation? All of these ones are tied to this pillar. So you'll see a lot of the ones that we see on, unlawful consumption of alcohol is probably the one that we see the most under this one. These are where all of those community ones are kind of tied to. And the last one, the last pillar is development. So development not only of myself, but how am I developing others as well? How am I holding them up to be successful? How am I taking care of them? How am I understanding my environment around me? Because that's really important, right? You're coming to an environment that is new, just like your roommate, just like your friends, just like all the people that you meet. You're in a new environment, so you have to adapt to that, right? But you also have to adapt to a bunch of other things. We want you to be developed, but we want others to be developed as well. I'll take this one too. So really what this means is we want you to respect everybody that's here, right? They deserve your respect just like you deserve their respect. It's really important, again, in our society, just because you think you can say something doesn't mean you should, right? I think I talk to my kids about this all the time, right? Just because you have something in your head and you say it out loud, you should probably have a filter. And a lot of times it's hard when maybe people don't get your sense of humor, right? Like I have a really sarcastic sense of humor, but if somebody didn't know me, they were like, oh my gosh, she's really mean. I'm not mean, I'm just sarcastic. And then no one should interfere with your experience and you shouldn't interfere with theirs, right? You shouldn't make their experience an unsuccessful one just because you think you can. We want you to be successful here, just like everybody else is.
So with that, what we are really saying is that for one, we want you to be a purposeful community, a place where you're making those decisions to align with your goals. If your goal is you want to receive a really great grade in your chemistry class, probably meaning the choices you're making might be, I'm not going to go out tonight because I actually really need to study for that test. Or I need to go to bed at a decent hour because otherwise I've been falling asleep in my 8 a.m. lecture. Right? So thinking about how are you making those purposeful choices to keep you on the path for your goals? An open community, a place where we are respectful of those who are different from us, those who have different opinions from us, someone who maybe disagrees with us. We can have different opinions, but are we respectful towards one another when we're listening to those other opinions? A just community, a place where if we see something that isn't okay, we're saying something about that. If you see a friend of yours being mistreated, are you speaking up for them? Are you saying something? Are you letting someone like Desiree or I know about that? A disciplined community, right? We're trying to keep on the right path and making those good choices to keep us on that path. A caring community, we've talked a lot about that. How do we look out for one another and care for those around us, extending that cura personalis to people within our community because we want to support them. We want to lift them up. We want to celebrate them, right? We want to celebrate people's achievements. When you get that great grade, when you get that leadership position, when you're meeting those goals that you have for yourself. And that's where we really talk about how are we bringing our best selves to our community, we're respecting those around us, and we're creating an environment where everyone has that ability to succeed. Everyone can achieve those goals. And if someone is impeding that achievement, that's really where we need to step in and say, you know, that's not aligning with the values of who we are as a community here at Creighton. So thank you all for your time this morning.
So much.
And welcome.
Thank you, Desiree and Allison, for sharing with us about community expectations. Now we'll be hearing from Adam with the Office of Campus and Resident Life. This session will be about living and commuting at Creighton.
Okay, the earlier speakers this morning said this was a lively crowd. I can tell already. Good morning, everybody. Go Jays. So I have a 4 and a 5-year-old, and when they see a Creighton Blue Jays billboard on the interstate, it's like they saw a Taylor Swift concert. They are that excited. True story, we were at the playground yesterday and a Blue Jay flew down onto the ground, and it was like the most excited they've been all day. So that's the kind of Blue Jay spirit I want to pass on to you. Go Jays. All right, better. How many of you are commuting this fall? How many are commuter students? It's okay. It's okay. There's proportionally not a lot, but there's some in here, maybe. How many of you are coming from out of state? Ooh, okay. Anybody from New Mexico? I always ask. That's my home state, but everyone's like, I'm from Arizona. That's not the same thing. Okay, now for the parents in the room, parents and families, how many of you grew up sharing a bedroom? Okay, good number of hands, good number of hands. Students, how many of you grew up sharing a bedroom? Not too bad, but that's our challenge for the fall. My name is Adam Stafford. We're going to talk living at Creighton. Living is sort of an inter-office cooperation. There are 3 teams: housing, residence life, and dining. My name is Adam. I'm the director of housing. We oversee the business and building side of things. So the application, the assignments, liaisoning with facilities management. And I'm joined by my partner in crime, Frank, who will introduce himself.
Morning. My name is Frank Schleimer, and I'm our director of residential life. So we kind of take the assignments and everything from Adam and my team, which is full of resident directors and resident assistants, kind of make the programming and make the activities for the residence halls and kind of the living experience that you all are looking forward to.
So business, buildings, people, programs. And if you're thinking, wow, I think Frank's team has the harder job, you're absolutely right. If I do my job well, this will be the last time you ever think about me. So we're here to give you our top 10 list. If we were to poll and aggregate the questions that are on your mind, we'd probably get something like this top 10 list, things to know about living on campus. We're going to get you through preparing for the summer and moving in and kind of getting used to being in the residence halls. I asked if there were commuter students. We've designated this little asterisk on items that might be applicable or of interest to commuter students as well. Want to have a little bit of everything. Our residence halls are really the nexus of social life on campus. It's where the party's at, not too literally, but commuter students are going to come visit. We have lots of resources in the halls. We want it to be a space for everybody. Frank, why don't you go ahead and take us away with number one?
Yeah, so we'll start with talking about there. I think the microphone's working a little better. The hall essentials. So kind of what to expect with the physical building. So we'll get into the room and kind of layout and everything in a little bit, but starting with what you can expect in the physical space that you come to. There will be community lounges, study areas, prayer spaces, community kitchens where you can rent out some pots and pans from the front desk and do a little kitchen cooking of your own. We have printing services in all of our residence halls, laundry rooms, which are free to use. They're built into your rooming charge at the beginning of the year. So kind of the physical space is designed for you all to have a lot of areas that you can go to and build friendships outside of your individual room. Obviously, you go there, you can figure out what your desired space is and what that looks like and what your breakdown is. But we want to make sure that there's space for you in your residence halls that you can go to with friends to study for class or kind of watch a game or whatever. So all of our physical spaces are laid out as such.
I emphasize that free laundry if you're living on campus, so you don't have to cram 3 weeks worth of laundry into one washer. Every year somebody starts a fire. Just spread it out. It'll be okay. Success hubs. You may have, after our session, you're going to hear from some folks with the Division of Student Success. We partner very closely with that office, all those offices. And one of the best ways we have this collaboration is our success hubs. In every freshman hall, we have a physical location as a success hub. Various staff work out of those hubs throughout the day. We have academic success coaches, and then graduate assistants and peer mentors who do not subject-specific tutoring, but more academic behavior, study skills. If you're having high test anxiety, if you feel like your study strategies aren't really effective, they're a good group to go and kind of mine some new resources or new perspectives with. They do academic coaching, mentoring workshops, study space. Those are in the lobby of every residence hall for freshmen. And again, one of those things that's available for commuter students as well.
So we talked a little bit about the buildings, but kind of when you arrive, probably your major concern or area of looking is the room itself. So this is potentially what your room could look like. We will have a number of triples. Designs could be laid out a little bit differently, but this is kind of what you can expect. A twin XL mattress, bed frame. We will have lofting materials and rails, so you don't have to worry about that. A big thing I like to point out is the mini fridge and microwave, so you don't have to worry about hauling that and taking up a ton of space in the car, hauling it up the stairs, none of that. Desk, chair, dresser. So a lot of the essentials are kind of provided for you. And then the next slide is kind of how you make it. And this is a room that is well kept from some of the ones I've been in. But it is our ideal room. So kind of it's the home that you make it is how we like to frame it.
Yeah, we let a couple of college students set this one up and then we didn't let them back in the room for 3 weeks. Just so you know, we default all the beds up to the upper lofted position. That's generally what students prefer, but there is some flexibility. We can adjust it down if you'd like, but that would be the default when you come in. What to bring and what to leave behind, please trust us. How many of you, show of hands, how many of you already have a 10-foot or longer U-Haul truck reserved? Please cancel that. If you've got that, you're bringing too much. That's one of the most interesting aspects of working in housing and residence life over the last 20 years is this like Cold War that's developed between parents and families and students about who can decorate the most cute custom dorm room. But here are some things you can please, I see people pulling out your phones. We've got this on the web, so you can bookmark it or come back to it later. We're not going to go through all of it right now. But our beds are twin XL. So when you get your linens, you're going to want twin XL. You'll probably get an email about a fundraiser through IRHG to buy linens and have them shipped to home. They get to home now. But feel free to bring stuff to make your own. We have blinds if you want to add some curtains on a tension rod. Sure, great. Bring some lamps. Bring plenty of iPhone chargers. You're going to lose them. You're going to want your own, bowls, cups. dishwashing soap so that you don't get in a fight with your roommate over the dirty dishes in your sink. Remember that you don't have to bring everything all at once. There is a Target on 72nd and Dodge. It's like a 10-minute drive. They'll be happy to help you with some of the things when you get here. But a couple of things I want to point out, especially with extension cords, we don't allow any extension cords that don't have surge protection. Anything that you plug your devices into should have surge protection. That's part of our fire and electrical safety plan. When we do health and safety inspections, if we see, just your standard orange extension cord that doesn't have any of that protection, we'll ask you to unplug that and confiscate, or to ask you to remove it. That's part of our fire safety. Part of our, things to leave at home, there's some more fire safety pieces as well. Candles, incense, even those melted wax in the wrong circumstances can lead to or help contribute to a fire. They're also really difficult to clean up when they get spilled. So open heating elements, I appreciate it. I didn't think that was my best joke of the day, but toasters, hot plates, air fryers. We've got kitchens or kitchenettes in all the halls. If you like cooking, you have the capacity within the buildings already to some extent, so you don't need to bring those things. And space heaters. If your room is so cold that you need a space heater, that's something we need to call facilities management for, to adjust your room in the first place. So please, if we've gotten to that point, we've done something wrong. Alcohol, drugs, tobacco. Creighton is a tobacco-free campus across the board. No tobacco products, smoke or smokeless. No drugs, no alcohol. I don't know who in the room needs to know this. That means even if it's from a parent, no alcohol. All of our freshman rooms, all of our freshman buildings are substance-free. Even Frank's RA staff, who are of age of the building, are not allowed to have alcohol in the building. So for those freshman halls, no alcohol. Weapons and ammunition. Sometimes we get asked, we don't have firearm lockers on campus or in public safety. There's no need to have weapons on campus. Finally, nails, drills, just put 3M strips up on the wall, or poster putty if people still use that. We're happy to take the 3M strips off the wall at the end of the year. You're going to save all of us time and energy and effort to just do that, because the paint still comes off in strips when people do it wrong. So feel free to use those to hang up anything that you're using to decorate your space. Just a pro tip, fire safety, you can't hang anything from the ceiling. So if you've got those LED light strips, or if you plan on something, nothing should be on the ceiling. It should be a couple inches down up on the upper wall if you want to do that. Pets, we do have emotional support animals and service animals. That process goes through Student Accessibility Services. I'm not really an animal person, but even if I was, it's so chaotic during move-in. Please leave Fluffy at home. Fluffy may be a dog or a cat or a frog, I don't know, but let's just focus on moving in.
Perfect. So obviously for some of you, many of you, this is going to be your first time living away. For parents, guardians, it's the first time that your children are living away. So we want to make sure that you feel kind of good in our policies in terms of safety and security. So like Adam mentioned, we have resident advisors who do multiple rounds a night, looking for any fire hazards, ensuring that our residence halls are substance-free, looking for any property damage, and to ensure that our halls are in the best condition that they should be for your students. And then, in terms of swiping into the buildings, you'll have to have your ID card on you at all times. We have someone who works the desk from 3 p.m. to 7 a.m. every day. So we have security for the buildings. They ensure that people are swiping into the building and that they are residents of the building. Only a resident of the building can sign in a guest, and there are designated times they need to sign out by. That time fluctuates based on gender as well, if they're of opposite gender. So please refer to our residential life handbook, and we can also we'll also be making sure that our RAs are saying that at the floor meetings and everything else. Front desk services, also want to point out, so they're there from 3 p.m. to 7 a.m. basically when most of the offices are closed on campus. They are your resource to get you to who you need to get to for an emergency. So in the off chance that you can't get a hold of your RA, we have one on duty, but if you don't want to go to that one, you can go to the front desk and say, I'm having this facilities concern. They can get you in contact with the right person. They're kind of there as a support system for you and built in as you're acclimating to college and as you're acclimating to our residence halls for any kind of needs that you have. And for the most part, they are upper class students who have been through a lot of the same questions and concerns that you have. So kind of have built-in support there as well. And Adam will talk a little bit about our professional staff in there as well.
Even just checking out a board game or asking for a restaurant recommendation, they're there to help. We have lots of staff in the buildings, some physically living in the space, some who are very closely connected, but all working together to make sure you have a great first year on campus. The resident director, you'll hear that term a lot. Resident directors are master's level staff. They typically have a degree in counseling or higher education administration, but working with lifespan developmental pieces that students go through 18 to 22 years old. They live in the building. They supervise the RAs who live on the floors alongside you. They're just like you. They are peers who've got a couple of years under their belt and want to help. They're going to take this journey alongside you. The assistant resident director oversees some of the front desk stuff. They're working with me on facilities issues. We have the desk receptionist we just talked about. In addition, we have campus health aides across campus. They do sort of an on-call. They're typically pre-health students who they're kind of like EMTs in training. So if you've hurt your ankle, if you're bleeding and it can't stop, you've got a stomach ache, you don't know what's wrong, they're good. They'll work with public safety and Res Life to make a recommendation. Do we need to get Omaha Fire for a transport? Would we recommend you go with a friend to urgent care? Kind of they'll shepherd you into the next step. Housing staff, my team, we're working to make sure furniture, fixtures, various facilities issues are getting addressed, and working very closely with facilities management. They also have an on-call that will come in after hours when there's immediate threat to person or property, or my favorite, the leaks. We can take care of that.
So roommate conflict. I'd love to say if it's when and not if and whatnot. Inevitably, it happens. Life is not a sitcom is kind of the line we kind of like to use. It's typically never as bad or never as great as it may seem. We hope that it is as great as it may seem, and that is our goal. But the first step is to getting to know your roommate. So often a lot of disagreements and concerns arise because there is a lack of discussion, a lack of communication. To that end, in your first weeks, you'll be working on a roommate agreement. So there's a general expectation for what the space is. That talks about guests, that talks about study space, that talks about time that you're going to sleep. A lot of different things that can arise for issues between roommates. We try to get ahead of and make sure that people are on the same page and that there is a compromise if the two are on different pages that meets both residents' needs. We have our resident advisors present to help facilitate some of those conversations. We understand that communication, mediation, and support can be difficult with someone that you're just living with and meeting for the first time, and you don't want to seem confrontational, but we do want you to advocate for what is important in your space. And we want you to understand kind of it's going to be uncomfortable for those first few days. You're living with someone new, potentially that you have never met, have never spoken to. Maybe you have via the internet. I would guess on what social media apps you could have met on. But that could be the extent of what you know about these people. So a lot of it is going to be uncomfortable. What we're trying to manage is the safety and making sure that you feel safe and secure in your room. And then kind of you can go through the journey with your roommate and with our residential life support. We like to point out that a lot of our people that we see, roommates that we see living together for their sophomore years, are actually ones that came through our residential life as people who had issues and concerns their first few weeks, and they used Res Life to kind of work it out and then live together the next few years. We saw some concerns, or not concerns, but people who didn't live together who we thought were perfect pairs because we didn't hear anything the whole year. And then it was just people were letting things bubble up and then said, I could never live with that person again. So it's a lot of kind of addressing it and feeling comfortable and having that autonomy and that power within to kind of talk about what you need in your space and knowing that you have support from the RAs, the RD, and all the members of my team.
Frank, that roommate agreement, is that a legally binding document?
That is not.
It's a starting point, and it's okay. Like, you really need to address those issues before that. But while it seems small, maybe even petty or insignificant, you should not expect this to be a tool you have in your toolkit yet, the ability to talk through that conflict. Now, Students, make eye contact with one of your parents for a second. Parents or family, make eye contact. Now, blink twice at your parent or guardian if you sometimes embellished a situation to get a little sympathy or maybe extra spending money. Now granted, again, I only have a 4 and a 5-year-old, but parent to parent, I think you know, sometimes you get the worst version of events. Now, not to say always, but in most circumstances, I need you to internalize that your student is capable of dealing with this. This does not need to be your problem to solve. We're happy between our office and parent and family programs. We're happy to be a sounding board, to be somebody you could vent, ask questions about how these things are typically handled, but you don't need to solve the conflict for them. You've worked really hard to get to this point, and this is your off-ramp. If you don't want to be negotiating that first job offer or counseling, doing marriage counseling in the future, like this is where it starts. They can do it. Now, in some situations, that's not to say in all situations. Some situations, things can get pretty significant, and we welcome partnership with you on that. Anybody already hungry? Meal plans. Every first-year student on campus gets a meal plan. The great news is you don't have to do anything. We'll sign you up for it. We'll sign you up. In the beginning of August, every student will get signed up for the 14 meals per week. Now, all the meal plan prices are the same. The only thing that changes is the calibration between your meal swipes, which are good in the dining halls, and your dining dollars, which are good at our retail locations in a declining balance. That dining dollar value you see is per semester. So you'll calibrate, you'll get up until the first week of class to change, and then you could change again in the spring. So if right off the bat, you're like 14 meals is not enough for me, I would eat in the rest hall every time I could if I had the chance, then you could bump up. Or if you're like, I'm going through dining dollars at Starbucks, like it's going out of style, maybe you want to step down a notch. You have the option to do that in the first week. And then say you feel it out for the first semester, the spring you get a chance to change it again. We have lots of different dining options on campus. Brandeis and Harper. Brandeis is, you'll eat there for lunch. It's sort of our standard dining hall. Harper is a $2 upcharge, but it's kind of an athletic training table concept, performance plates, real emphasis on, hot protein on a salad bar topping or heavy, protein pieces. There's always a yogurt parfait, yogurt and fruit bar. Simple Servings is our station in Brandeis that is free of the 7 most common food allergens. So if dietary restrictions are a concern, that's a great station to start on. I'm trying to lose weight, so Simple Servings is where I go every day. It really helps. But if you have dietary restrictions, Sodexo is very good for trying to work with families one-on to talk through what that would look like and how we can adjust to meet your needs. Please don't think if just because you walk through the dining hall and there's not something that is there ready for you that meets your needs, that they can't do something to help. They absolutely can. And in some rare circumstances where it might make sense for a student not to be on a meal plan, we do that case by case.
So probably the most enjoyable part of my job, and probably where I get probably to interact with students and have the most fun, is kind of the real programming and taking ownership of your residence hall. So we have RAs who plan floor programs. We have RAs and resident directors who will plan hall-wide programs, making sure that people are getting involved, making sure that they're trying to meet the needs of what our students are looking for. So they'll often send out surveys, ask what type of programs you're looking for in the space, ask what type of programs you're looking for in terms of going and exploring Omaha, what you're looking for on campus, and trying to blend those ideas together. We also encourage you to become involved. So you can run in the first few weeks of your first semester for Residence Hall Council. In this, you kind of get to take that autonomy. You get to plan events, write legislation, advocate for your community. You're kind of the people who are in there and I like to say boots on the ground, so you know what the residents want best. You get to kind of work with the resident director and a budget that is set aside specifically for RHC and plan programs for your peers. Write legislation that can enhance the quality in the building. And then that comes up directly to Adam and myself, and we work with upper administration to implement those ideas as they are fit to enhance the student experience. So we really like to encourage our students to become involved and know that there are going to be events that are put on for so many different types of students and so many different preferences and interests. So just be on the lookout because we hit so many, such a wide gamut of interest. It's fascinating every year to see the programs that they put on.
And finally, let's talk timeline from here to move in. After the 4th of July, likely the week of July 8th, we will send out your roommate assignments. The roommate portal, Find Your Roommate portal closes June 21st. A lot of folks find their roommate during summer preview, so we leave it open until a week after preview's over. And we'll send out your roommate assignment and your room assignment probably that week of the 8th of July. I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off right now. Not everyone's going to get assigned to Graves Hall. But I mean this truly and profoundly. I believe that all of our residence halls offer something to somebody who needs it. Graves is new. It looks great. It's very eco-friendly. It might be a little too comfortable. You might not come out of your room very much in there. And it's a long corridor. So it's easy to disappear in Graves. If you're new, if you don't know folks, if you're a massive extrovert who just needs that constant interaction, Swanson and Degelman, you're going to run into people more often. Swanson, you walk out of the door and it's just common area. Those hallways are very open. Parents, families, if you have significant concerns about your students' ability to clean their toilet and shower, Degelman might be the place for them, where they don't have to handle that responsibility. Somebody will do that for them. You know who you are. But no, I think there really is, and folks in every hall, it becomes a very strong sense of their college experience and who they are. I am class of 03. I lived in Kiewit Hall that I'm now watching get torn down. Now, as the director of housing, I'm a little gleeful about that building coming down. But as an alum who lived and was an RA in Kiewit, I'm a little sad to see it go because it's still a part of me, even though they changed the room numbers and my room number is not accurate anymore. Throughout July, you're going to get lots of emails from us about getting ready. You'll need to sign up for a time slot. You won't be able to sign up for a time slot unless your immunization records are submitted and updated. But you'll sign up for a time slot. Our move-in dates are August 16th and 17th. So you'll sign up for a day, one of those 2 days and a time. Please stick to that time. We stage everything in the Burt lot. It is all very tightly measured, monitored, controlled. You can start shipping large mail items if you want to ship them to Blue Jay Print and Post. They'll store them until you get to campus, but do not send anything before July 29th. Not like date of receiving July 29th. Don't go to the post office before July 29th. We have to basically clear campus mail out to make sure that we have room for all your stuff. Tuesday, August 20th, the first day of your college career begins. And then you have 1 week to figure out if you want to change your meal plan for the fall semester. Please make sure you've bookmarked. You've been doing a lot of communication with enrollment through your personal email, through Slate. But once you're an official Blue Jay who's on campus and started class, Creighton email is the official method of communication in our office is no different. And the housing portal, you've probably already been there to fill out your housing application. You'll do that again and again, time slots. Reapplication in the spring for your sophomore year, closing, checkout time slots. You'll go back to that again and again. So I will be around Brandeis while the parents are in lunch. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to come up and interrupt me and ask me any questions. We'll also be out at the tables again in the morning at 10. We'll be happy to answer anything that's on your mind. But on behalf of Frank and I, we couldn't be happier that you've chosen to make Creighton your home in the fall, and we can't wait to help you make it your own. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all so much for sitting through those sessions from Campus Partners. We are now going to transition into our afternoon portion of our program. In just a few minutes, I will transition you, or I will introduce you to the summer preview student leaders. And these are students who will be leading you through small groups throughout the rest of the day. After we introduce our student leaders, students will go to lunch with their small groups. Families, like I mentioned this morning, you will stay here in the auditorium to hear from a panel of students. After that panel, then you families will go to lunch. And then starting at 1:30, families, you will return back here to the Harper Center and attend breakout sessions for the rest of the afternoon. Now, I'd like you all to hear a message from some of our student leaders.
The second I walked onto the Creighton campus, I could feel that this is where I wanted to be. Here at Creighton, you're more than just a number. You're not another statistic, not just another student. The community is just absolutely unrivaled. Everyone here supports each other and wants to see each other succeed. And that was something that I so truly wanted for my college experience. And that's why I came to Creighton. I feel like when I finally got onto campus, everyone was genuinely excited to meet me. And it's definitely a place where I immediately felt like I could find a home.
Welcome Week really helped kind of bring me out of my shell, whether it was through our huge lip sync competition or getting involved in Scott Shutdown, getting involved like the many different clubs that we offer, as well as through all of our different RSPs. We got to know each other really well, and that really helped me kind of develop a lot and branch out as time went on.
One of my favorite Creighton memories is going to CHI Health Center for basketball games. The atmosphere is absolutely electric. You never feel prouder to be a Creighton Blue Jay than when you're in that student section cheering on the basketball team.
One of my favorite spots on campus are the rocking chairs in front of Creighton Hall. It's really fun to sit up there during passing periods and just wave hi to everybody that I know.
Don't be afraid to ask for help, especially from the upperclassmen. They're more than willing to help you out and are excited to see you succeed. One piece of advice I would have is to just be present. It can be easy to get caught up in the busyness of everyday life, but when you're walking across the stage at graduation, you're going to remember the small things like saying hi to someone on the mall or the late night study sessions. Whether you're from Omaha or a long way from home, put yourself out there, get involved, go to the game, leave your door open, go to Scott Shutdown, and just say yes.
Awesome. All right, so now without further ado, I would like to introduce you to our team, starting with our executive team. They've been working so hard since October to prepare this program for all of you, and we couldn't have done it without them.
Hi, everyone. My name is Olivia Hack, and I am a senior from Kansas City, Kansas, and I'm studying marketing and journalism.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ella Sampson. I'm a junior from Lakeville, Minnesota, and I'm studying political science and economics.
Hi, everyone. My name's Ellie Reed. I'm a junior from Seattle, Washington, and I'm studying exercise science.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mackenzie Royal. I'm a junior from Urbandale, Iowa, and I'm studying public health and biology.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anna Vogt. I'm a junior from Kansas City studying marketing and finance.
Hello, my name is TJ Lencioni. I'm a junior from Santa Clara, California, and I'm studying exercise science.
All right. Additionally, we have 29 student leaders who will serve as some of your small group leaders. So now over the next 2 days, let's go and get to know them a little bit better.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hasmin. I'm a sophomore from Bellevue, Nebraska, and I'm studying nursing.
Hi, everyone. I'm Caden. I'm a sophomore. I'm studying computer science and I'm from Omaha, Nebraska.
Hi, everyone. My name is Grace. I'm a sophomore from Colorado Springs, Colorado, and I'm studying psych on the pre-OT track.
Hi, I'm James. I'm a sophomore from Kansas City, Missouri, and I'm studying biology on the pre-med track.
Hey, everyone. My name's Katie. I am a sophomore from Scottsdale, Arizona, studying BIA and marketing.
Hey everyone, I'm Xander. I'm a sophomore studying nursing from Omaha, Nebraska.
Hi, everyone. I'm a sophomore from Chicago, Illinois, and I'm studying exercise science on the pre-OT track.
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm a sophomore from Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm studying psychology and healthcare administration and policy.
Hi, I'm Abby. I'm a sophomore from Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm studying elementary education.
Hi, I'm Gabriel. I'm a sophomore from Kansas City and I'm studying nursing.
Hi, my name is Nena. I'm a sophomore from Marshall, Minnesota, and I'm studying biology on the pre-med track.
Hi, my name is Macy. I'm a sophomore from Des Moines, Iowa, and I'm studying biology on the pre-med track.
Hi, everyone. My name is JJ. I'm a sophomore from Lompoc, California, and I'm studying exercise science on the pre-physical therapy track.
Hi, I'm Isabella. I'm a sophomore from Eagan, Minnesota, and I am undecided on the pre-med track.
Hi, my name's Audrey. I'm a sophomore from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'm studying finance.
Howdy, I'm Campbell. I'm a sophomore from Edmond, Oklahoma, and I'm studying biology on the pre-dentistry track.
Hi, I'm Ashlyn. I'm a sophomore from Scotts Valley, California, and I'm studying nursing.
Hi, I'm Jack. I'm a sophomore from Englewood, California, and I'm studying philosophy.
Hi, I'm Claire. I'm a sophomore from Denver, Colorado, and I'm studying economics and philosophy.
My name is Joel. I'm a sophomore from Omaha, Nebraska, and I'm studying biology on a pre-dent track.
Hey y'all, my name is Kira. I'm a sophomore from Salina, Kansas, and I'm studying accounting and management with a minor in philosophy on the pre-law track.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jacob. I'm a sophomore from Paxton, Nebraska, studying accounting and finance.
Hi all, I'm Luke, a junior from Denver, Colorado, studying political science and criminal justice on the pre-law track.
Hey everyone, I'm Lucy. I'm a sophomore from Omaha, Nebraska, studying accounting and management.
Hi, everyone. I'm Caroline. I'm a sophomore from Denver, Colorado, and I'm studying environmental science on the pre-law track.
Hi, I'm Gianna. I'm a sophomore from Denver, Colorado, and I am studying business management.
Hi, I'm Dana. I'm a sophomore from St. Paul, Minnesota, studying nursing.
Hello, I'm Ty. I'm a sophomore. I'm from Minnesota and I am elementary education.
Hi guys, I'm Sophie. I'm a sophomore from Rapid City, South Dakota, and I'm a bio major.
All right, now that we've given our guides a warm welcome, students, I have some special instructions for you. Please leave your white US Bank bags with your families. All you need to take with you is your laptop or tablet for your advising appointment. Now, students, please also pull out your paper agendas that you got during check-in. Also, those blue booklets that you guys got at check-in, could you please leave those with your families as well? Now, students, at the top of the page of your agenda, you will see the names of your summer preview guides and the associated small group color. In a few seconds, I'm going to dismiss you each by group color. When you hear your group color, please follow your guides and they will take you to lunch. I'm going to dismiss you, so please listen carefully. If you are in group orange, Hasmeen and Kaden will meet you all at the top of the auditorium. Again, group orange, you will meet at the top of the auditorium with Kaden and Hasmeen. If you are in group teal, James and Grace will meet you at the bottom of the auditorium. Again, if you are in group teal, Grace and James will meet you at the bottom of the auditorium here. If you are in group red, Katie and Xander will meet you at the top of the auditorium. Again, group red, Katie and Xander will meet you at the top of the auditorium if you are in group red. If you're in group light green, Kate and Avery will meet you all at the bottom of the auditorium here. Again, group light green, you'll meet you at the bottom of the auditorium. If you are in group black, Abby and Gabriel will meet you at the top of the auditorium. Again, group black, they'll meet you at the top of the auditorium. If you are in group yellow, Macy and Nena will meet you at the bottom of the auditorium here. Again, group yellow, meet at the bottom of the auditorium. If you are in group white, JJ and Isabel will meet you at the meet you at the top of the auditorium. Again, group white, JJ and Isabel will meet you at the top of the auditorium. If you are in group blue, Campbell and Audrey will meet you at the top of the or at the bottom of the auditorium, excuse me. Again, group blue, they'll meet you at the bottom of the auditorium. Group purple, Ashlyn and Jack will meet you at the top of the auditorium. Again, group purple, Ashlyn and Jack will meet you at the top of the auditorium. If you are in group fuchsia, Claire and Joel will meet you at the bottom of the auditorium. Again, that's group fuchsia, meet you at the bottom of the auditorium. If you are in group gold, Jacob and Kira will meet you guys at the top of the auditorium. Again, that's group gold at the top of the auditorium. If you're in group violet, Lucy and Luke will meet you at the bottom of the auditorium. Again, group violet, they'll meet you at the bottom here. If you are in group green, Caroline and Gianna will meet you all at the top of the auditorium. Again, that's group green at the top of the auditorium. If you are in group pink, Ty and Dana will meet you at the top or at the bottom of the auditorium here. Again, that's group pink at the bottom of the auditorium. And then group light blue, Sophie will meet you at the top of the auditorium. Again, that's light blue. Sophie will meet you at the top of the auditorium. Awesome. Cool. One more second. All right, thank you all for kind of bearing through that bit of chaos. In just a second, we're going to get you all to our family panel, but before then, you got a quick few short messages. So now that it's just us families, I have a little secret for all of you. In your white US bank bags, there's a reason why we had you keep them. You will find a blank note card that says "To my Nujay" on the front of it. If you do not have one of these white US bank bags, you can grab another, either another one or just specifically another "To my Nujay" card at the new student orientation table right out in the Harper atrium. Sometime this afternoon, please write your student a note to your student with words of encouragement and hope as they embark on this new adventure here at Creighton. We will take these letters and we will deliver them to your student during the first week of school in August. You will place the sealed envelope in a white mailbox that is right outside of the auditorium here. There'll be a sign that says "To my Nujay" cards. Please be sure to include on the front of that letter their name, net ID, and phone number so we can make sure that we deliver it to the correct person. And then also, again, please remember to keep it a secret until August. I got one and it was a lot of fun and it was very sweet. So now I would like to pass it back over to Anna to kind of take you all throughout the rest of the day.
Before we get started with family panel, I'd like to pass the microphone over to Judy Pritza and Ann DeLuca to speak to you families.
Good morning or afternoon, everybody. My name's Judy Pritza. I'm the Director of the Parent and Family Program here at Creighton University. Have the privilege of meeting some of you this morning when you all started checking in, and look forward to meeting you a little bit more this afternoon at 3:30 at our family reception. I'm a graduate of Creighton a couple times over back in the 90s from the College of Nursing, and then had 2 kids graduate from here in the last couple years. So I'm very well in tune with how you're feeling sitting in those seats. Creighton is an amazing place, and I'm really excited for you. My role in the Parent Family Program is to get you guys all engaged and make these next 4 years just as special as it will be for your students. And my role is to meet you wherever you're at and see what works best for you to be engaged with the university. There's a couple ways. Oh, my slide changed. It looks nice. Thank you. A couple ways to get involved: being a Goodwill ambassador, talking positively about Creighton, sharing the Creighton family story, and just being proud of your kids and sharing how well they're doing with your family and friends. All that does wonderful things for the university and for your students. Being a well-informed parent, making sure you guys are getting all the information that you need, whether it's how to navigate something or a new situation. Anne's going to talk about that. That's kind of really her area, but we work together with any families that we encounter. Whichever one works best, we'll get you to the right person. I travel the country a lot during this academic year, and so you guys might get an email from me that I'm in Minneapolis, or I'm in Denver, or I'm in St. Louis, and wanting to just meet with you and have coffee, see how your experience is going at Creighton, and if there's a way to get you guys engaged. And one of those questions that I'm going to ask you if we do meet for coffee or something is, do you have any internship connections? Creighton has an amazing career center. You will find that out very soon when your students start looking for internships. And they don't have to be in business. They can be any academic. But I always reach out to the parents, because the more we can add to that database, the better. So if you work at an institution, maybe that we don't have on our database, or you have a contact with a new HR person or something, we can update that. That makes it better for everybody. And then philanthropy. I also oversee a Parent and Family Leadership Council. It's a philanthropic group of parents who choose to support Creighton. That's something that we can talk about if that's of interest to anybody in the fall. So that's kind of my role. The other thing that our program does, the next slide, is we get to do fun events. And I also travel the country doing events. In late July, first part of August, we'll be doing probably about 11 or 12 send-off events for new freshmen and parents in the areas up here. Some of these are TBD. I'm still working on getting dates and hosts and such. Most of these are all hosted by people on our Parent and Family Leadership Council. They're current parents. Some of them are alums as well. Some of them are just current parents. But it's a wonderful opportunity to meet all those coming from your area. And I'll be there. We'll do a short program. We'll have some current students. And it's a fun social event. So I encourage you all to come. You will be getting invitations. Parents, you'll get them to your emails that you gave to Creighton, and students will be getting them to their Creighton email. So watch for those. You can RSVP, and I look forward to seeing you guys at those events. Now I'll turn it over to my partner, Anne.
Oh, that's okay. Hi, folks. I'm going to be short and sweet here, but my name is Anne DeLuca, and I serve as director of our Office of Student and Family Support. And there's really 3 things that I want y'all to remember from this presentation. First is our attitude about parents and families at Creighton University. So at Creighton, we very much believe that parents and families are partners in student success. So what that means to us is that we want your feedback. We want your phone calls. We want your emails. We want parents and families to trust their gut. Between the moment your student steps on campus to the moment they graduate from Creighton, we want to work collaboratively so your student can thrive at Creighton. So some ways that we help manage that relationship with all of you is first and foremost through our success desk. So folks, feel free to take a picture of this, put this in your phone. We always tell families, if you don't know what to do, call 1212. This isn't just for parents and families, though. This is also for students and faculty and staff, but it really is kind of a one-stop shop. I'm sure that this morning you've heard from a lot of different offices, and you're going to continue to hear from different offices because we all really want to support and provide resources. But if you don't quite remember which office to go to, who said what, you can always start with the success desk. And again, our team is there to support. That also goes with any questions or problems that you may encounter, big or small. Like I said earlier, we really want parents and families to trust their gut because you know your students best. And we're here to help problem solve with families. Again, from that first day of school all the way until graduation. If you go to the next slide, the other thing that I want to highlight is just our portfolio of communication channels that we have available for parents and families, starting with our Blue Jay Family newsletter, which comes out once a month. We host live panels where families can sign in and chat with university leadership, Instagram, Facebook, our email. We also will do our Blue Jay Family first year calling campaign. So in the fall, you are all going to get a phone call from somebody at Creighton asking how things are going. And again, that's just our high touch attitude toward partnering with parents and families. Finally, the last big thing I want you to know is our Blue Jay Family portal. Everybody in here will be getting an invitation to our portal, which is an online communication tool for parents and families. In there, we'll have the university calendar, paperwork, updates, news stories, just all sorts of information specifically tailored to parents and families. So not just parents, grandma, aunt, uncle, family, friend, neighbor, everybody's invited. The last thing that I will leave you with is that collectively, Judy Pritza and I will be hosting the family reception that is happening today at 3:30 right outside these doors. And I know that we are both super excited to meet all of you. So please, if you have questions, come find us. We can't wait to meet you all. And again, we're just so grateful that you've all joined our Blue Jay family. So go Jays.
Thank you, Judy and Ann. Now we will be transitioning into family panel. Okay, up here with me are some of our wonderful summer preview guides. They all have lots of experience here at Creighton, and they're ready to answer any questions that you have. To ask any questions, you can use this phone number up on the screen by texting. So we can start off with introducing the guides with their name, year, where they call home, and what they're studying.
Hi, my name is Jacob Holzfaster. I'm a sophomore from Paxton, Nebraska, studying accounting and finance.
Hi, everyone. I'm Caroline Dieter. I am a sophomore from Denver, Colorado, and I am studying environmental science on the pre-law track.
Hi, I'm Ashlyn McDaniel. I'm a sophomore from Scotts Valley, California, and I'm studying nursing.
Hi, I'm Isabella Tucker. I'm a sophomore from Eagan, Minnesota, and my major is undecided, but I'm on the pre-med track.
Hi, everyone. My name is Macy Davis. I'm a sophomore from Des Moines, Iowa, and I'm studying biology on the pre-med track.
Hi, I'm Xander Dotson. I'm a sophomore from Omaha, Nebraska, studying nursing.
Hi, my name is Grace Cairns. I'm a sophomore from Colorado Springs, Colorado, and I'm studying psychology on the pre-OT track.
Perfect. Thank you all. The first question we have is, what do you bring for your residence hall? So can we go down the line and list our favorite thing that we have brought in for our residence hall?
For me personally, for my residence hall, I brought a fan. I can find that sometimes in the residence halls, the heating or cooling fluctuates maybe a little bit more than I'd like. So in the winter, I might open my window for a bit, or in the early fall, it's great to have a fan there in the residence hall to cool off the room.
I brought like an over the door hanger. And that was where my roommate and I would keep like our purses, our coats, hats and things. And I thought that was a really great way to optimize space.
I had my bed lofted in my residence hall, so one thing that really helped me was like a little container kind of that hung off the like railing of my bed so that I could put like a water bottle in there, or like my phone so I could turn off my alarm easily in the morning.
I brought a cordless vacuum cleaner because my roommate and I both have very long hair and it was always everywhere. So it was really helpful to have that. And I believe you can borrow them from the front desk of each residence hall, but I found it really helpful to just have one in my room that I could use at any time.
I brought a full-length mirror. I lived in Graves Residence Hall, and that is the only residence hall for first-year students that does not have full-length mirrors already in the room. So it was nice for getting ready in the morning, just to add another space for doing so.
I brought LED lights or my own like string lights. The lights in the rooms are pretty harsh, and so if you want like your own little like mood lighting or something to just like have before you go to bed, and it's not like this giant LED light, I thought it was super nice.
Something that I brought that I found that was really helpful was extra seating. We got these, my roommate and I got these 2 chairs from Target. They were pretty cheap, but they're a lot more comfortable than like the desk chairs and like just easier and better for like lounging around instead of like actually studying.
Definitely all essentials. Speaking of residence halls, can someone talk about finding your roommate, how you found your roommate, and how that process worked?
So my roommate and I found each other via Instagram stalking. We found a common like commonality between us. We both did mock trial, and then for us, that was kind of how we communicated. We communicated our preferences through like text, but there's also the roommate portal, which your students will have had the opportunity to fill out. And that one is also very helpful because it gets very specific. And like, as long as it's answered honestly, it's a great talking point for you to connect with future roommates. Things as little as like, do you like the lights off while you sleep? Night lights. It's very thorough and it's very helpful.
Yes, my roommate and I actually met that way. We used the portal and we matched pretty highly. It will tell you basically kind of a ranking of who you answered similarly to the questions that Caroline was referring to. And so we matched pretty highly. We started messaging on the portal itself. It has a chat feature. And then we shared numbers with each other and started texting and impulsively decided to become roommates without having met before. But she lives about 45 minutes away from me. So then we met up, really hit it off. This year's been great, and we're actually going to be rooming again together next year. So yes, she's one of my best friends now.
Perfect. Can someone talk a little bit about bringing a car to campus if you need one, or did you not need one?
So being from Omaha, I had like having my car on campus because I had an off-campus job, but I didn't use it all the time. I didn't work very frequently, but it was just like the just in case, or say I had a doctor's or like dentist appointment. It was easy to drive myself back to like wherever those offices were and get that done. But I wouldn't say it was necessary for me to like survive Creighton.
And then I didn't have a car here on campus, but there was lots of different ways I could get around. I used a lot of Uber at the beginning. Then I also found some friends that had cars. And then a great thing that Creighton has that's super helpful is the J Shuttle, which one thing that's kind of new this starting last year was that it picks you up on Sunday and takes you to like Walmart and Target, which is good for just getting like those kind of supplies you need every week. And then also starting new this upcoming year is our student IDs will work as a pass to get onto any of the like public bus systems. And so that'll be a great opportunity to get around Omaha.
Definitely. Can someone talk about what to do like when you get sick? Is there different places you can go?
Yeah, so just north of Cumming Street, there's the CHI Health Clinic. All Creighton students are like able to use it. It's just about like a 5-minute walk if you need a walk or find someone that can drop you off. And they have an emergency clinic and a walk-in clinic, and they have a pharmacy there. And I knew a lot of friends that like had to go in because they had a cold and just needed like some cold medicine or just to look up and stuff like that.
Perfect. We just talked about what you liked bringing for your residence hall. Can we go down the line and list something that you brought but you didn't end up using?
I brought way too many pairs of shoes, and I kind of found out that took up a little bit too much space in my room. And so as school went on, I started taking more and more home and realizing, hey, I've got too many pairs of shoes. So
I ended up bringing, I want to say like an absurd amount of jackets. I wear one jacket I wash it, I wear it again. I did not need that many, so I think that, you know, especially with like closet space, that was something I wish I had considered a little further. I brought a Brita, which I thought was going to be really helpful just for like having water in my room and stuff, which maybe for some people it would be. But my residence hall had like an ice machine and like a water fountain down on the first floor. And so I always just ended up getting water from there.
I would say I think I ended up bringing too many hangers, which some people would totally disagree with me and say bring a ton of hangers. But I lived in Degelman Residence Hall and we had a lot more shelving space than we had like to hang things up. So I found that I ended up bringing a lot of hangers home over fall break.
I brought a lot of blankets. My house at home is very cold. My mom likes to keep it freezing. And so I brought like 3 or 4 blankets and I did not need 3 or 4 blankets. 1 to 2 is appropriate. So if your student really cherishes their blankets, then definitely have them bring them. But that 4 is kind of pushing it.
Similar to Jacob and Caroline, I brought way too many clothes. Even from being from Omaha, I was just like, oh, it'd be nice just to have everything there. I don't have to stop like back home all the time. But then it turned out to be more of a hassle to like fill my closet and not have stuff like falling off the shelves. And it was just like a super big hassle and shoving my like hanger side to side so I could get to like 1/2 when I only wear like the same 15 shirts. So
Something that I brought that I probably shouldn't have was I wanted to make my bed look all cute and aesthetic with some throw pillows, but that was definitely not the move because I would just end up like tossing them on the ground and they took up way too much space.
Awesome. Can someone talk a little bit about safety, whether that's on campus or off campus and around Omaha?
Yeah, well, I would say that Creighton feels like a very safe campus overall. I've never felt unsafe here at any time of day. What's really nice is we have public safety around 24/7. So we have the emergency number and the non-emergency number. So if a student is walking back to their residence hall later at night, they can always call that non-emergency number and have public safety come and either walk them or drive them back to their residence hall, which is really nice. And campus is also very well lit at night, so I have always felt very comfortable.
Perfect. Can we have some people talk about the meal plans and the different dining options on campus?
So we have 3 meal plans. We have meal swipes and dining dollars. So meal swipes are what can be used at Brandeis and Harper, which is what are the 2 food halls. And then we have the dining dollars, which are used for like Starbucks, Firehouse Subs, Qdoba. We have a Chinese restaurant on campus, and then also like McGloin Market, which is kind of like a gas station grocery store mix. And so the 3 plans are 10 meal swipes and 1,000 dining dollars, which is what I use personally. And I found that super nice because I found that I really liked Qdoba and Firehouse, which were like both super good. Like I'm just a big Firehouse fan, so that's what I used a lot.
A lot of students, their first semester, I should say, because the plans are semester based, will start with the kind of intermediate plan, which is 600 dining dollars and 14 meal swipes a week. So that kind of lets them feel out how many dining dollars they might be sitting at the end of the semester. And then as Xander was talking about, if they found that they wished they had more dining dollars, then they could kind of bump it up to that 10 meal swipes a week and 1,000 dining dollars. But if they found that they didn't use nearly 600 and would rather just be able to go to the dining hall whenever they want, they could go down to only 200 dining dollars, but then unlimited meal swipes. So they could visit the dining halls, Brandeis and Harper, as many times as they wanted to throughout the week. And all the meal plans, I should add, are the same price. So they're the same cost. It's just kind of a balance of dining dollars and meal swipes.
Definitely. With all the on-campus options, it's always fun to like go off campus to get food. So can we go down the line and list our favorite restaurant in Omaha?
I'm a big fan of Spaghetti Works down in the Old Market. It's a great place to just walk around and be free, but also go and have a good meal.
I'm a big fan of Zio's Pizzeria, and it helps that it's kind of located near one of my favorite bookstores. So that's a really great excuse for me to kind of go poke around there also.
I really love Early Bird. I went there with my parents during family weekend. Great brunch food. Everything was delicious.
My favorite place is definitely the Old Mattress Factory, or the Mat restaurant. I really enjoy their burgers and it's a cool kind of like sports environment too.
I really like Hook and Lime, which is Mexican food. It's always a good spot to go with friends. And I really like Mexican food. So that's one of my favorites.
I really like Blue Sushi. I'm a big sushi fan. I like destroy plates. Like my family goes to me and I clear all their plates if they don't finish it. Like that's my go-to spot.
I think tacos may be my main food group, so I would highly suggest checking out Mula. It's a Mexican restaurant and their tacos are super good.
Those are definitely all great recommendations. Can we have a few people talk about fraternity and sorority life at Creighton?
I can start. So sorority and fraternity life is not as big as you would think on this campus. It's a minority here. Definitely not the majority of students do it. And the recruitment process starts in the spring, so everyone will go through that if they choose to. I recommend doing it even if your student is maybe on the fence of doing it. It's a great way to meet a lot of people and see if they like want to do it or they can drop. It's not very like you don't have that commitment. I joined a sorority and I think it's like such a fun group. I've met so many like girls through it and it's a great way to serve the community and it's a very fun time.
For me, I went through fraternity recruitment in the spring and didn't end up joining a fraternity. And I really do not feel like I was left out of the community here at Creighton. I think the first semester really helped me find a good set of friends and a good support system around me. So I really do not believe if you do it or if you do not do it, that it's going to really define or determine your semester or your time here at Creighton. I think Creighton fosters a great community of friendship, support, and everything that surrounds that if you're in a fraternity or if you are not.
Yes, definitely. There's many different ways to get involved. Speaking of, can a few people talk about different ways to meet new people and get involved and what they do like with their free time?
So one of the great opportunities that your students will have in the first few weeks of school year will be something called Scut Shutdown, which is an event where every single club on campus will come and like table and give you their elevator pitch, and your students will have the opportunity to sign up for clubs. I signed up for literally everything almost. Did I go to every meeting? No, but it's very low risk. Like you can show up if it's not your thing, you know, you don't end up joining, but that's a great way to meet people. That's how I met a lot of my friends, and through there, those commitments kind of build and you can kind of see them on like weekly basis. And I think that's a really great way to like meet people on campus.
Another good way to meet people, which I found super beneficial, is leaving your door open during like the first 2 weeks of school. So me and my roommate propped our door with just a door stop and let people come in and out, see our room, have chit chat. And that's how we met our best friend and now my future roommate. He just walked in our room one day and then has not left our life since. And so I think it's just like a super fun way to meet people on your floor in your residence hall instead of like having to go out of the way to like go to like a club and say if your students like not very big into clubs, like they can just meet the people that live near them.
Yes, definitely with getting involved in everything. Can someone talk a little bit about managing your time, like with involvements and then also like academics?
Yeah, so college is definitely more challenging or a new opportunity than what high school is. So for me, coming from a small high school, I took college classes and things such as that. But Creighton is a little bit more rigorous than what I took, and I joined more activities than I thought that I would be doing. But I found that through the Success Center, a on-campus resource that helps you manage your time, study habits, tutoring, it can really help you plan out to be more successful and still spend time doing what you want to do, making sure you're putting time and efforts into your grades to get the grades you want, and also joining clubs, activities on campus, and just doing everything you want. So I think Creighton really has a good support of finding that balance between life, fun, friends, and academics, and still making sure you maintain a very healthy lifestyle, mental health, and everything around that.
Piggybacking off what Jacob said, Creighton's very big on like the academic success side. And so at the Success Center, they have a lot of like tutoring and like they call it supplemental instruction, where a student will sit in your class with like a student will sit in a class with your student that they're taking. And then later they'll have an office hour where they can like go over the material. So I really took advantage of that for my anatomy class. I took anatomy in high school, but then coming back into Creighton's anatomy was a lot like more than I thought it would have been. And so I would make it like a weekly plan to like go see my like tutor and like we'd study and she'd like go over all the reviews. And the nice thing is like for Creighton, it's very normal to use tutoring. Like I like to say if your student goes throughout like their Creighton time and like don't use a tutor, like they're probably a super genius. But like I found a tutor super like helpful and it like helped me succeed in my classes.
One other thing that the Success Center does that some of my friends have utilized is you can make an appointment with them and they will help you block out your schedule day to day, like your like homework and studying schedule and working in like activities and time for breaks in between your classes so that if you're kind of having or if students are having a hard time just like figuring out like when they should be fitting in their studying, that's a really good resource for them to kind of have a plan for the day.
Definitely. I have a question about recommending sending care packages to students. If you have received one, where can you send those? And like, what is your like favorite things to receive?
My mom at the beginning of the school year sent me a nice care package, but all mail will go to our mailing room. It's in the Lower Swanson area, and your students will receive a text and an email about that it arrived and like this is the number and how to get it. But it's a very easy and simple way. And I remember I opened up the package and there was a very nice note from my mom saying how much she missed me. And then there was some like goodies like candy in there, which I loved. And, you know, it was just a lot of fun things. And it was a great way to a little pick me up throughout the week and a reminder that like to call her and something like that. Yeah.
In regards to like care package ideas, something that my family did is like any kind of like small holidays, like St. Patrick's Day or Valentine's Day, they would send me something then so that I would just have something small to open up on that day. And it was normally like decorations for my room, so I could have little decorations for that specific holiday. And I thought that was really fun.
Another one that I found really helpful is my mom packed me these tiny like mini board games. And so I took those out into the neutral zone, which is like the kind of collective area that everyone on the floor kind of hangs out in. And we were going absolutely bonkers on Uno and like a mini Hungry Hippos game. I don't know how we managed to make that one work, but I would say like tiny board games are kind of fun and like a great way for them to be like, hey guys, like I have this, does anyone want to join? And usually the answer is a resounding yes.
Definitely. Can someone talk a little bit about like what the toughest transition you had starting your first year at Creighton?
I would say mine was like the social aspect. I shared a room as like a kid with my younger brother, but then like as we got older, we were able to like split up and not have to share anymore. But living with someone constantly and like always having people around you was like a big task for me because I'm more of like I'm gonna go lay in my bed and just like relax. But then there's always someone in my room because I had a roommate. And so like just being able to like take the deep breaths and like be patient with people and just being like, this is like a fun chance in my life that like I might never have again. So like taking advantage of like what I had and just like saying yes to everything because just like I have really bad FOMO. So it was like hard for me to not say yes, but like just spending that time with those people around you because it might not last forever.
I struggled with feeling like by like branching out here, I was going to be losing all my friends and relationships back at home. And I think like the biggest thing I realized was that making new friends doesn't mean that you're losing your old relationships. It's just an opportunity to make more friendships. So if there's a way that you can remind your student that they get to keep both things, I definitely think that that's a helpful reminder.
I think that being smart about what kind of going along with what Xander said, what I was saying yes to, especially kind of right off the bat, because I'm prone to kind of overcommit myself and be like, oh, that sounds like a lot of fun and like, want to join a lot of different things, but kind of managing time as some of them have been talking about is very important, especially considering that a lot of times the academic coursework is a lot more rigorous than high school. And so understanding how to manage time and kind of when you're making commitments, I would say advise your student to kind of take a look, see what they might have time for and kind of take things on slowly so they can kind of understand what they will have time for and add as needed.
Yes, there are definitely a lot of resources for your students to help them through that transition. Can I have a few people talk about having a job on campus? What's the flexibility with that, with academics, and like maybe the number of hours that you've worked?
Yes, so I have a job on campus and I will say that I think it is unique insofar as because it's on campus, all of my bosses are very willing to work with me. There's a set amount of hours that I am allowed to work. I can't surpass that even if I wanted to. And I think that's really helpful because they're very willing to kind of work with you. Like for my work schedule, I got it by emailing her what I was doing, including like my extracurriculars. They accounted for that as well. And it's nice just kind of being able to like finish school and then go right to my job. So I think that's a very valuable tool. And there's a lot of opportunities open for students to work, especially using our like website Handshake, which is kind of like a LinkedIn type of deal where they would upload their resume. And so that is how you get connected to jobs on campus.
Perfect. I have a few questions about sporting events. So how early do you get to the CHI for basketball games and are they free?
So the nice thing about Creighton is all sporting events are free, from baseball, basketball, soccer, like anything you can, as long as you show your student ID and it's a home game, you can get in for free. The line thing, however, that's like a touchy subject. I know for basketball, I knew people that were there at like 8 a.m. camping out like the UConn game, or like pink out, like it's just like the really big games. But I found that like I had activities later in the day, and so I couldn't get to the line till like 5 o'clock, and I still got a seat, and I still was in the student section. And so it just depends on like where your student wants to sit. I knew people that were like crazy about the front, so they get there so early. But I was fine with like middle or back, like as long as I'm in the game, like at the game with like my friends, that's all I really cared about.
But I also think that waiting in that really long line hours ahead of time is one of the most fun parts because you just like bring a group of friends, some card games, some snacks, and you just kind of sit there and hang out until it's time for the game.
Yes, definitely. And sporting events are a big tradition at Creighton. So can we go down and say our favorite tradition at Creighton?
My favorite tradition is when families all come back to campus. There, I think the first week or two in September to come visit their new Blue Jays. And it's a great time to just see the family, ask how we're doing, and really just get connected and introduce them to new friends, what we're now doing on campus or how academics are. And so that's one of my favorite things, is just having that opportunity to see my family after those first couple of weeks on campus.
I really like during finals week, we have this late night breakfast and it's like around, I don't know, 10 p.m. or so. And what they'll do is they'll come and bring really yummy breakfast food to Brandeis, and then your professors will actually serve you the food. And I just think that's a really fun tradition. You go with your friends and it's like a nice reprieve from, studying. And I think it's just a really fun thing we do.
I thought the March to Morrison my first year was really fun. Everyone gets in their matching just blue Creighton shirt, and it's just a flood of all the first year students. And we get a little speech from Father Hendrickson, and then we march down to Billy the Blue Jay down by Morrison Stadium as a class. And it's a really fun experience, and we touch Billy the Blue Jay's beak.
I also really enjoy that finals week late night breakfast, but along those lines, one of the things that I thought was just hilarious this last semester, that I wasn't expecting is in the library the night before finals. The normally silent library, they start blasting the final countdown over the speakers, and that is kind of your signal to go outside and head over to late night breakfast. And then we also do the final scream where everyone goes outside and screams and gets ice cream. And that was a really fun memory for me.
Something around that time of year at the end of first semester was Christmas at Creighton. And that's a tradition where kind of anyone who'd like to kind of gathers around. They serve cookies and hot cocoa, and it's outside kind of near the fountain, if you've seen that, along the mall, which is like the central route through campus. But a lot of people gather, and a lot of, the administrative staff, faculty of Creighton, are there, give, speeches and kind of, congratulate students on coming to the end of the first semester. And then kind of closing out that event, there's, the lighting of a big Christmas tree in the middle of campus, as well as like all the other lights along the mall. So just around that time of year, campus is really pretty with all the pretty like blue and white kind of lights. And so that's a really fun celebration.
During welcome week, at like the end, we do this thing called lip sync where every RSP, which is like your student's homeroom, will partner with another RSP and then get a mashup of like a certain artist. So like mine was Spice Girls. And then you like plan a dance with like your whole RSP and then you do it in front of your entire class. But then also sororities and fraternities are there. And it was probably one of the most overstimulating moments of my life. But it was so fun. And it's just like the energy is so like high and crazy and like everyone's just laughing and cheering you on. And like it was probably one of the best things that like I've done here so far.
Something that I really love that's a tradition at Creighton is the Pink Out game. It's one of the basketball games where it's a home game and it's supporting breast cancer, I believe. And everyone gets a free pink shirt. Everyone changes into it. It's a wave of pink throughout the entire stadium. And it's just a great atmosphere. Everyone is supportive of each other and we're rooting on our Blue Jays. And it's just a fun time.
Those are all definitely great traditions here at Creighton. I have a question about what is something your families did that was helpful to support you throughout your first year?
I think for me, just like letting me figure out on myself, like my parents were very big on independence with us growing up. And so like they kind of just like I came to summer preview alone and they were just kind of like, you need to figure it out. Like you're an adult now, kind of just move it on, but like always checking in on me, like, oh, how's this class going? Or like, do you need help with anything? But they push like do it yourself and then come to help if you need it, which I found super like impactful because later in life, like it's just I'll be ready to do things on my own without having to have my parents do it for me.
Kind of adding on to that, I think it's important that your student knows that you know that they can do it. Like just having the understanding that you believe in them and that they're ready. Because I know that it's easy as families to want to hold on to your student and want to keep them there forever, but they need that encouragement and support from you that they're ready.
Yes. Along those lines, as well as like reaching out to your students, something that my mom actually did was she sent me and my roommate a box full of cookies during like finals week. And that was so nice to have because you're stressed or your student will be stressed and it's just a great little sweet treat to have and a great break. And you can also invite your friends over for a little break during studying.
Yes, I agree. Kind of that moral support along those lines. I would say also as much as like I totally agree with the independence and having them understand and kind of figure out how to do things on their own along with the resources that Creighton offers. But also I would call my mom if, you know, there's a lot of new experiences you're going through. And so having just a listening ear, someone who's known me since, you know, the beginning, and just to be there and kind of remind me everything's going to be okay and that I can do it was very valuable to me and yeah, made my first year much smoother.
Okay, I know we've had a lot of answers, but I want to say one more. And I think that it's just that like more of a disclaimer because I can speak for us students, but I've also spoken to my mom and like it can be hard just having them leave, right? And it's going to potentially feel like maybe you're more distance because you are. But I would say that just remember during the first few weeks, it's busy. They are, and that's like by design. When your students aren't calling you, they're okay. If anything, they're performing for me, Jason Derulo on stage for the sororities and fraternities. It's gonna feel like a lot of distance, but like having that trust in your student is so important. And like they'll reach out to you. I now call my mom at the drop of a hat. She's probably sick of me. I'm like, Mom, I'm just anything. And so it's gonna feel a little bit different, but I just want to kind of give that disclaimer that like it all kind of balances out and it's gonna be fine.
Yes, definitely. Can someone talk a little bit about homesickness, whether that's going home on the weekends, like how often do you go home, and how do you get help when experiencing homesickness?
I would say, well, I especially kind of felt the homesickness mostly like after fall break, like between fall break and Thanksgiving break, because that was after kind of the initial like busy kind of time started to slow down, and then you're kind of like in the middle of the semester. And during that time, I just really I called home maybe maybe every day for a while, because I just like needed to talk things out and just feel like I was supported. And I would say that what would have helped me to get through that more easily is if I had been a little more involved in clubs during that time, because I think I got a lot more involved in things during my second semester, but it would have been really helpful if I had had more kind of more people to go to and to talk to, or just like more stuff to fill my schedule that wasn't studying and homework. So I think that that would have been a little more helpful for sure.
I am from Des Moines, Iowa, as I mentioned, so just about an hour and a half away. I would say, personally, I found myself going home probably once, maybe twice a month. And that was really nice to have that time at home. And I would say when I was here, kind of what Isabella said, what kept me happy and, kind of took away that homesickness was involvement. And all of that involvement too, I found that as I continued coming back to campus from my home of Des Moines, throughout the year, it felt more like a second home. Like this is also my community. So that was really nice. I felt like there are so many people here that know me, that I know, and I know I can go to. This feels familiar. This feels like my second home. So I would say that it kind of wore off and became more familiar throughout the year.
I can attest to what Macy said, that Creighton kind of feels like a second home to me now, but Creighton also offers free counseling services to all students on campus. So support groups, if you are feeling homesick, you can go and talk about that with someone who's trusted and confidential. And they also have two amazing support dogs that walk around campus all the time, Ella and Coco. And they are just, you see them and it's just like, oh, a dog, and you're just automatically happy. You go and pet it and it's just something that brightens your day. So I mean, never feel the shame of going to counseling, stuff like that. And so if you do see one of those dogs around campus, just say hi to it.
Yes, of course. There are definitely many resources for homesickness. I have a few questions about the weather. So can a few people talk about maybe the winters? Like, is there a lot of snow, or how do you adapt to the weather?
So from being from Omaha my whole life, you kind of can't adapt to it. So in January, we had like 2 weeks where it was like -30 degrees the whole time. And that's like only happened one other time in my entire life. And so even I wasn't ready for it. And I had like my coats, my sweatpants, my gloves, my hats. And even that was just like brutally cold. And I had to walk from Graves to Brandeis or Graves to my classes when we did have class. And it was just like, it was a cold, like I was kind of running just to get there out of the freezing like weather. But I just recommend bringing like a couple pairs of pants, but nothing too crazy for the fall semester if you're from out of state, because you don't want to take up too much of your closet space, like I said earlier. And then bringing like maybe just a coat or jacket too. And then when your student comes from winter break to kind of change their closet out, bring like their coats and pants, because January and February is when it's really cold and you want to have all that instead of like just keeping that one jacket, one coat. So making sure you do like a closet swap at the end of the semester and beginning of the next.
I'd say one thing to not underestimate is the power of gloves. Because I remember trying to walk with a package back to my residence hall in like a flurry, and my hands almost fell off. So please wear gloves.
Perfect. For our last question, can we go down the line and say what is the most important advice you would have liked to receive as an incoming freshman?
It would probably be just to be yourself. I mean, coming to college, if you do put up that wall and be someone that you're not, it's just going to be even harder to make friends or find yourself being natural around others. So really just be yourself, be outgoing, meet everyone, do everything, and just be yourself. You will find people that you fall in line with who will become your best friends and you'll meet. So just be yourself.
I think just an emphasis on how normal everything they're feeling is. I have a tendency to be like, no, mom, no, I'm telling you, everyone else is completely fine. The truth is, like, you know, it's an adjustment for everyone. So I guess kind of an emphasis on that, just because like outwardly we're all trying to put on our best because we're making new introductions and things like that. But really we're all nervous and we want to make new friends. And I think that would have been like a really helpful emphasis just because, you know, it can appear differently.
I would say to not compare yourself to everyone around you. I think it's very easy to get carried away with like how your academics are looking compared to others, how your extracurriculars are looking, and especially just how quickly you're making friends or how close those relationships are, and just kind of understanding that everyone's gonna have everything happen at their own pace and to just be patient.
I would say don't be afraid to be uncomfortable at times because that is how you grow. There are definitely a bunch of situations that I ran into during my first year where I was just like nervous to, you know, take up an opportunity or jump into a new club or something, or even to just to say hi to like new people. And I really have found that just like not being afraid to step outside your comfort zone is going to take you places.
I would say be willing to ask for help and accept help. It's a big transition, a lot of, like I said earlier, kind of new experiences. And right off the bat, I was like, you know, I can do it by myself. I don't need, you know, any of the like some of the resources that we've kind of been talking about, but they're there for a reason. And I found that when I used things like the academic success coaches who kind of taught me strategies for how to study and things like that, and just so many others. That's just one of many examples. But I would say just encourage your student. It's okay to ask for help, to use those resources because they're there for a reason.
I would say that it'll be okay no matter what. It might not be that perfect image that you had going into it, and you might have some bumps in the road, but in the end, you'll be okay. And that, like, with whatever like outcome there is, and I wouldn't stress about all the little things. Just kind of go with the flow and say yes to what you can.
Something that I would have loved to hear is just to be patient with yourself. There's a lot of changes going on, and it's easy to like kind of what Ashlyn said, to compare yourself to others and like compare like their progress to your progress. But I would say be patient. It's a growth process. Growing takes like some time. It's either like rapid or it's slow. And I would just, yes, be patient with yourself and like your student as well.
Thank you all for your advice. Let's give a round of applause for our panelists. In a few moments, we will be headed to lunch. Following lunch, we have breakout sessions throughout the afternoon, starting at 1:30. Please refer to your program for session descriptions and locations. These guides will walk you to Brandeis, so follow anyone in a navy shirt and they will get you to where you need to go.